Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the tier list. We are on episode 5 now, and as a sort of continuation from the Premier League strikers, we're now looking at Premier League midfielders. I am Daniel Mangan, joined today by Adam Collins.
How you doing, guys? Who's going to be the Callum Wilson this week? We'll find out.
Neil Hardman.
Hello.
Patrick Carolan.
Hello.
And Ben Ritson.
Hi, I'm ready for this.
Before we start, might as well say, how's everyone doing? Everyone all right?
I'm okay. Yeah, I can't wait to get into this.
A lot of pressure on you today, Ritson.
Well,
this is your choice.
Seeing as you're excited, start us. Let's get straight into
All right, let's go
Wait, hold on. We should explain what the tiers are.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So, tiers are going to be world class, first team player, squad player, bench your best, transfer list. Like I said, bit of continuation from our Premier League strikers, but let's get straight into it.
And we
Oh.
picked one player for each club. Basically, like kind of the most prominent midfielder
That is true.
for each club.
So, yeah, Ben Ritson, let's get this debate on the road.
Okay, Daniel Mangan, let's do this. Right, my first player is Dele Alli.
Oh, start with a banger.
Well, I mean, you say banger, maybe
Well,
for a debate.
I meant bang. Start with a bang.
Okay, because Dele Alli was a bang and now he's a squeak. He's completely tailed off since those first couple seasons at Spurs, where everyone thought, "Holy crap, this guy is a revelation." He scored 18 goals and 7 assists in the 16-17 season when he was like 20, 21, something like that. Everyone was all over him, and then I do not know what's happened these last couple seasons. I mean, it completely tailed off. I mean, he got 5 goals last season, 8 goals so far this season. But I mean, whenever I've watched Spurs, honestly, I don't notice him at all, unless he does get a goal. But you know, he's a midfielder. At the end of the day, he should be doing more than just the odd goal here or there. Personally, for the tiers, I'm not sure how to base this on what kind of, are we got first team player for like a top club or just a general?
No, it's like if you were building your Premier League like 11, like I know
right.
where would you lie within that?
Squad player. There, I'd put him in squad player. I think he doesn't do. If this was 2 years ago, I mean, he'd be. I don't know if I could put him in world class, but those couple seasons he had, I thought he was exceptional. So many goals, so many assists. You know, and then I had one of those goals where like flicked it over his head and then volleyed it bottom corner. Yeah. I mean, when that went in, everyone was like, "This is the guy." He's not the guy anymore.
He showed promise. But he hasn't filled it. I don't know whether he's dedicated himself off the pitch enough. It seems like one of those guys who kind of gotten a bit carried away with the fame. If you look at a couple of things he's done in the, behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, where he got filmed and it got released. When he did that thing.
Yeah, and he did a coronavirus joke thing,
shocking.
I didn't know about that, but we can't base that.
No, I know, but like I'm saying it, like he's because of his focus is lost off the pitch. It might have gone on the pitch. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Tottenham have really tailed off as a whole last couple of years, and
true
coincided with that. But is it because Dele Alli's been bad, or is Dele Alli being bad because the Tottenham have been bad?
Well, last season they managed to get Champions League finals, still got top 4, but this season, I mean, he was not great last season either. And then this season, I mean, I don't know how he's got 8 goals and 4 assists. Like, you look at that and you're like, it's pretty good for, the games he's played in that. That's a good, contribution. But it's just...
I think something you've got to consider as well, he has a great partnership with Harry Kane. And Harry Kane's been injured a lot last couple of years. So when he's not there, their partnership hasn't had the time to flourish as it usually does.
Yeah, no, that's a good reason, to be fair.
Just to quickly say to you, Ritson, just because of basing it on what we did with the strikers, you've put Dele Alli as the same player as Teemu Pukki and Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Well, well, you got to compare them to midfielders, though.
Yeah, well, it's different for every position.
Honestly, I'd agree with him. I'd agree with Ritson. I think
if we were building a Premier League squad, there's no way Dele Alli is in the first team. He's a squad player.
I think he's a bit overrated. I don't know whether honestly I don't know whether to say he's overrated or he just hasn't fulfilled his potential. I don't know how to categorize him.
I think he's just struggled. I think in the past few years he has struggled a bit. I think he struggled a bit with injury as well. During this time, he's had a couple of ankle problems, I think, and that's just like stuttered his career a bit.
Yeah, it's probably true. I mean, I'm looking at some stats because I love some stats, and you'll hate me for it later on, I'm sure. I don't have a specific time in mind. I'm just presuming that'll come up. But you look at his stats; he's got 1 key pass per game, which is, I mean, maybe if he did that for like Bournemouth.
Yeah, I think you've got to think that he's not that type of player, though. Like, really, you're judging him on goals, I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but he's a midfielder. He's got to do more than just score.
Yeah. No, but he's a goal-scoring midfielder. He's like a Frank Lampard type. Like, that. Yeah. Like, kind of his job within the team. Harry Kane moves out wide, creates the space for him. He runs into it, gets the goal.
True, but Lampard had a lot more than just scoring some goals. His passing creativity was also excellent, but Dele Alli doesn't have that. Anyway, but I don't want to compare Dele Alli to Lampard, obviously, but
8 goals is still a very good return for a midfielder.
It's not bad this season.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, when you look at the goals, just as goals statistic, you're like, yeah, that's pretty decent. Yeah, he's all right. But then I watch Spurs and I'm just like, where is he? But maybe it is the partnership with Harry Kane to an extent. But
thing about it though is obviously we use Who Scored a lot when we're looking at stats for these players. It's a very good resource available for free. But they obviously look specifically for positions, and when he's playing in Cam, he's so much better than when he's playing anywhere else.
This is something I saw just before when I got the page up. Is all right. So rating wise, as an attacking midfielder, he's got an average rating of 7.28. And as a very small sample of 3 games here, but as a centre mid, 6.53. It's not great. And any other position apart from attacking midfield, he's also really struggling in that rating department anyway. So I do agree with that. He's obviously a lot better when played further up, which, he still played most of his game there, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
The thing is, for a player to improve on their potential, their team has to improve on their potential at the same time. And Tottenham have gone down rather than up at the moment. So, like, it needs to correlate with his progression, and it hasn't.
Let's be honest. In a sense, the Champions League ruined them in terms of confidence. And since then, it's not really been the same. Like, and you can see it Dele Alli in this league has scored 8 and assisted 4, so that's still not a bad return at the end of the day.
Especially considering this season, they've been playing under Jose Mourinho as well, who's a not particularly attacking manager. So,
one thing to sort of say, like, you're saying the Champions League's what ruined them. From the moment 2019 started, they became awful, Tottenham, didn't they? Just a horrific second half of the season for them in the 18-19 season.
Oh yeah, second half.
Apart from a couple of miracle moments in the Champions League, obviously the Lucas Moura hat-trick being the most prominent one. Yeah. And then it carried over into the first season, which is what led to Pochettino being sacked.
Complete side note here, but the commentary on that 3rd goal against Ajax, it's so good.
That's another tier list. Commentators.
Yeah.
Pundits. Although, to be honest, it would just be Carragher and Neville at the top one, and everyone else in the bottom one.
No, Peter Drury at the top as well.
No, as pundits.
Pundits.
Yeah,
pundits. Okay. So, yeah, I think we need to look at where we're putting them now.
Yeah. Neil, do you have anything?
Neil wasn't going to say anything. Neil say anything?
I don't think I really have anything to add to that. I just wonder whether he'll be one of those players who, has that innate ability, but due to a combination of factors like injuries, loss of form, and off-field antics, whether he'll go anywhere. I'd probably put him as a squad player for now. I kind of worry he might end up a bit like Jack Wilshere,
I was thinking more Ross Barkley because obviously I think Ross Barkley's talented, but look at him now. He's just,
I think the point with Jack Wilshere comparison was the injuries.
Yeah, true.
Ross Barkley's just an idiot.
Well, to be fair, I think Dele Alli's a bit. Well, Jack Wilshere. They're all idiots, to be fair. Who make a lot of money.
Well,
somehow.
no, but Ross Barkley's an idiot on the pitch.
Oh, okay. I get what you're
Is what
saying.
I mean.
Okay,
He's an idiot person as well, but that might be due to some bias.
Yeah.
Top 20 stupid footballers. That's the next one.
Oh, let's go.
Wayne
All
Rooney.
right. Collins, where would you put him then?
I mean, to me, he's still first-team player, but I feel like I've been very supremely outvoted.
That's because you're wrong. Mangan?
I'd say squad player. It's not all his fault, but he has dropped off a lot.
And Paddy?
Yeah, it's got to be squad player. Based on what we've seen last 2 seasons, it's got to be squad player.
We can conclude that Collins' opinions for the rest of this podcast are completely irrelevant.
Official.
So, yeah, there you go. Concluded. That's it. Right. Who wants to go next?
I think I'll go next, and I will go quite short in terms of distance because I want to look at this player because of the controversy, really, that he brought forward in November. I want to talk about Granit Xhaka.
Oh.
You mean Captain Loyalty?
Captain
Loyalty. Representation.
No longer captain.
I pray if you are listening to this podcast and you don't really know much about football at all, on the off chance, watch Arsenal Fan TV after the Crystal Palace game. The language they speak about just shows the pure hatred they had. Personally, I don't think he's that bad a player. I think at that point he has an attitude problem, but who really would be happy if you're getting booed at? He just lost.
Yeah, but the fans have their right to boo.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole debate of how much do the fans have to say about it.
When you're getting paid that much a week, the fans have the right.
I mean, the thing is, he got left out for 3 games afterwards, but then he got played nearly every other game, and that's a case of whether it is because Arsenal have no one else, or whether because he's just a good grafter on the field. Anyone?
I'm a bit torn on Xhaka because, actually, I'm not that torn. I mean, I don't think he's terrible, but I get why Arsenal fans don't exactly appreciate him. I remember when they signed him, they were all going crazy. They were like, "Oh, go on, this guy." I think he did it was the Euros, the World Cup. They signed him one summer, and he just done pretty good for Switzerland. I think
he scored that screamer, didn't he?
Screamer. That's what. Yeah. And they thought, "Here we go," and they were like, "Oh, so cringe." But they were saying Jacques Boom or something. Oh my god! You know what? They deserve everything they get. But I don't know. He's not. Well, he wouldn't go first team for me. Put it that way. If Dele Alli's first team, he's not.
You're looking at Arsenal, and they've got Xhaka at defensive midfield, and David Luiz at centre back, and you're wondering why they concede so many goals. It's calamity, mate. I don't rate Xhaka at all. He's an error waiting to happen. And how many red cards does he get every game?
Every game?
Yeah, he gets
every game. I think it's probably less than one.
Gets more than one red card.
Just to confirm, Paddy, you do realise Xhaka has not been sent off this season?
Well, before this, he gets sent off. He's cleared up his act.
Most yellow cards at Arsenal this season, though. So
yeah,
the point's still valid to an extent.
And what would you say he brings to the team on the ball?
I think he's on the ball. He's actually a pretty good passer, and he keeps it well. His problem is purely defending because he's willing to go for a challenge that he has no business trying to win.
Would we class him as a CDM?
Defensive
class him as a CDM.
Exactly. So his problem is defending as a CDM.
But the thing is, when you're saying he's good at passing, does he have a high pass percentage because he takes low risk, or is he actually good at passing, or is it a bit of both?
I think he's actually good at passing. I think it is a bit of both. Arsenal are a team that who do go for the short passes, playing it together to try and look for the perfect moment to break someone down. But I think Xhaka, that's part of Xhaka's role, and I think he does that well. I think it's important that we don't try and just only criticise Xhaka. He's an easy target in the footballing world due to his previous actions. But personally, while I won't take him at Everton because of his attitudes, I mean, we've had Morgan Schneiderlin, so I can't really criticise having him as a player.
Here's something to back up Collins' passing thing. He's got obviously 88.2% pass completion, which is pretty damn good. That's the fourth best in Arsenal's entire squad. And the Ozil's ahead of him, Guendouzi and Rob Holding, who's played about 300 minutes. So, but also, along with that success and percentage, he averages the third most long balls in the Arsenal team, only behind Martinez, the backup keeper, who again's played like twice, and David Luiz, who's a defender who doesn't really know what he's doing half the time anyway. So, putting those two things together, I think, yeah, he's got right, good passer. But if he's a defensive midfielder and he's not defending too well, then...
The thing is, there's so many players in the world of football that are good passers. It's one of the
very important thing for midfielders.
It's one of the easier things to master in football is passing. So surely Arsenal could have so many more options that are better than Xhaka.
No. I mean, look at the options at midfield.
Neil, what do you think of this? Because obviously you saw after Palace game, like you see what sort of a player he is. Like, what do you think he brings?
It's just if you take a look back, right, you don't really see much other than his poor temperament, do you? It like seems to cloud everything else he does. Even if he has decent passing, decent ball retention, there's always that air over him, like, what's going to happen next? What stupid things are you going to do next? That's not acceptable for a top player.
True.
I mean, Diego Costa always had that air.
But he never he knew how to not go over the line
and
most of the time.
Delivered on it.
Yeah, and he also delivered goals to back it up. Whereas Xhaka's not given an awful lot to that team to make it worthwhile. The odd red card.
What are your guys' votes for him, by the way?
Transfer list.
Wow, really?
I agree.
If he was, I would not want him anywhere near my team. He's a mistake waiting to happen.
Wow.
And a red card waiting to happen.
I was going to say squad.
Once again, Paddy has not had a red card this season.
Listen, one season. You talk about Callum Wilson being a one-season wonder, so we're not basing things off one season.
I would have said squad player, to be dead honest with you.
So that is such an overreaction to him. He is a squad player.
I'd probably put him on the bench. I would have really wanted him in my squad, just to see.
What did you say, Mangan?
I said squad. So we had two squad
so
players.
So we'll put him in bench at best.
Sorry, no, wait. Paddy, did you say transfer list?
Yeah.
So
sorry, I said I agree. I meant bench. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So he is bench then.
Yeah, we'll put a bench then.
Yeah, my bad.
I think transfer list.
Collins, up to you, son.
All right then. We waited a long time before doing an Everton player because I was putting it off. I figured this time I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and talk about Andre Gomez.
Transfer list. Get it on.
he ripped a big Band-Aid off this year, didn't
Transfer list debate over. Paddy, what are you up to, son?
All right, so let's go for
Fabinho. I have control. So you try and stop this debate. I will put him in world class and leave him there.
Oh my God, no.
Oh, Andre Gomez, my word. The shining light in the beacon of drizzle that is Everton's midfielders. I genuinely think Everton's midfield is the worst in the league.
Well, you won the transfer window like 3 years in a row, Collins. What are you on about?
We didn't sign a midfielder that season.
To be honest, Collins, I think you're being a bit harsh on Everton's midfield. I mean, Liverpool without Fabinho probably is worse. So,
Oh,
I don't know, man.
You're triggering here, son. Bruising.
If I speak, I'm in trouble.
Typical Liverpool fans, by the way. We try and talk about an Everton player, and suddenly the topic has to change.
I was complimenting him.
No, go on. Two Everton fans.
Yeah, two Everton fans have a good debate on this.
Go on.
Neil, what's your opinion on Andre Gomez? Because mine is that he's a little overrated.
I think he's a classy player, He's got a good passing range, mostly, one that far exceeds the rest of our players, and it really, really stands out. You feel like, when he's on the ball, he never really loses it. Probably, I think since he's come back from the injury, especially coming back from the lockdown, I found him caught on his heels a bit, sometimes being robbed of the ball in the midfield. But hopefully that'll improve with match practice. The main criticism I'd have is sometimes I feel like he's not involved enough in the goals we score. He's got that nice passing in the midfield, but he doesn't move forward himself, doesn't score enough goals, doesn't get enough assists. I know that's not his primary job, but I wish he'd just provide a bit more in that. He's got the class, but I'd just like to see him make more of an impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something that I'd entirely agree with you is the Everton midfield as a whole is sort of a role that is designed to just move the ball along. It's not seen as a focal point whatsoever. So when judging an Everton midfielder, it can feel like you're being harsh when you look at it from a purely statistical output. But again, not 0 goals, 0 assists in all his games so far this season. Admittedly, he was shining brighter and brighter before Son Heung-min decided, it was really mean that guy managed to get past him with the ball. Guess I'll kill him.
I think that's a bit biased there.
It wasn't even him. It was Ori actually.
Yes, because Son Heung-min attacked. Hang
on. If we're judging this in the court of law, Heung-min's sin. Oh my God, what the hell was that?
I think I just ordered that from the Chinese.
I'm just gonna say, Son was an accomplice to murder, whereas Oria actually committed it.
No, if you push someone in front of a car, it's you that did it.
Oh yeah, talking about the law. So okay, Collins, when should Son be arrested?
Well, it was about 4 months ago it happened, so ideally then.
You cannot say...
No, I don't think he should be arrested for assault. Let's not try and stretch my words out.
You literally said he attacked him.
Yeah. Look, he lost his head, and he retaliated by aggressively, purposely trying to foul Gomez, which caused Gomez to go into Oria, which caused the ankle break. It's entirely Son's fault, and it's got nothing to do with Gomez as a player. So let's end the topic here.
Right.
Look, Gomez gives you everything you kind of want in a modern midfielder, apart from end product. To me, squad player.
Interesting. Right. I was going to say first team player. You guys know better than me, which is fair enough. But when I watch him, I think he's a classy player, as Neil said. I really like him.
I think he struggled a bit after the injury, but
you can't.
You have to give him massive props for getting back.
It's
after that injury.
Huge injury to come back from.
He has been a bit, maybe like Neil says, slow on his heels since, but you can't really blame him.
But I think if you watch Everton with him and without him, you can tell. You can really tell the difference.
I think that might have to do with the terrible squad depth.
That could be it, because you got who have you got in the midfield?
They get Gomez injured, and they're a couple calls away from actually getting Collins on the pitch. So it's not. And also, last season he only got 1 goal and 1 assist as well before any broken.
But I don't think that's.
I don't know. He's not
again. Like I said, the Everton style of play is not that the central midfielders are the ones that are involved. Our style of play comes mostly down the wings, so it's your wingers and your fullbacks and the strikers who are going to get the plaudits.
Yeah.
But Gomez, he's a classy player. He'll keep the ball and he'll get a pass off, and it's great.
I think.
Or do I worry whenever he's by someone defensively?
I think that first team pick has been, and the whole classy player is just more based on an aesthetic look of how he looks when he passes the ball and not what he does with the ball. And for me, I would put him bench at best.
Oh, that's
wow.
Gosh. Right, fine. One quick more point on my part. He did beat Reece James 8-0 in the FIFA tournament.
World class, I'm sorry.
There we go.
Reece James. So.
I think I think he should be in squad player, really. I think there are times when he...
It's not about end product though with every player though. It's not about.
I'm not just looking at that
Sometimes it's their job to start the move, not finish it.
Yeah, I know, and
I think that's Gomez's job to start the move and not finish it. So he's not going to get the goals and assists.
No, I'm not looking at that. I just think he can be a bit caught on his feet a bit sometimes, and like I said, not his fault whatsoever. Son Heung-min should be jailed for what he did.
Oh, that's an extreme opinion.
But I'm going to leave him as squad player.
Neil?
But squad player is fair.
No point.
Right, squad player. So, Paddy.
Oh,
give us a...
I think we should go. We talk about 2-3, bigger club players here. Let's go down the peg. I think.
Oh.
I just want to be honest. I just want to get Kenny McLean out of the way.
Guys, can we just put him a transfer list and let it be?
No, that's harsh to just go there straight away because you can't judge him based on the club he's playing for.
The guy's literally played every game for Norwich this
season.
I didn't even realise.
He's played every game. He's got a pretty good rating from it. He's their most appeared midfielder, which probably isn't that hard to do in that club. Apart from that, I don't know too much else about him.
I mean, all right, when you say rating, he's the 5th best rated Norwich player, which in a first team of 11 is in the middle.
The highest rated midfielder, that's what I'm saying. Centre midfielder, anyway.
Well,
I mean, not that really matters. It's just I don't know anything else really about him, so it's hard to.
I try to do research on this guy, but there's not much to say about him really. He's played most of his career in Scottish football, and he joined Norwich.
It shows.
January 2018, and has he done much? He's scored a goal. He's assisted this season so far, but when you're fighting relegation, like Norwich have been, we spoke about Pukki being a squad player because he's trying to get him out of it. He's trying to get the goals, but you need to rely partly on your midfield as well. And Kenny McLean's meant to be an attacking midfielder, and he's not doing that.
Well, actually, if you look here, he's played 15 games at defensive midfield this season and 9 games at attacking midfield. He's doing both those roles, and average rating of 7 on an attacking midfielder, average rating of 6.7 as a defensive midfielder. That shows he's versatile. That's pretty decent, because they're very different roles. So for him to be playing those roles to a decent standard, both of them.
But is that a case
it's got to say something.
Is that a case of, though, is he really versatile, or do Norwich not have anyone in that
But that's why he's been having to do that. But the fact that he's done well in those positions shows that he's versatile when he's been called upon.
Well, even with that transfer list, to be honest,
I'm going to say bench at best. I think it's easy to just look at them and say, "Oh, Norwich, they're a crap team. Let's put them on transfer list."
I mean, what do the two Blues think?
Well, I mean, there's not much to say about him, is there?
We played Norwich just 2 games ago, and I can't even remember if he played, but odds are he did.
He did play. I think he played all game.
It's a Norwich player. If you're not someone, and the unfortunate thing is that for clubs at this level, if you're not a stat getter or stealing the headlines, you're gonna just be forgotten.
But it doesn't mean you're playing badly. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why if he's watching our video or listening to our podcast, he shouldn't be disheartened that 5 lads from Liverpool don't think he's very good.
Sorry, Kenny, you seem like a good laugh because I've seen something in your Wikipedia page, but
I'm going to say bench at best. I mean, I'm purely basing this off statistics, which I don't like to do, but I mean, I'm not watching Norwich. Come on. I'm sorry.
I have missed football during lockdown, but I haven't missed it that much where I'm getting up all Norwich games. I'm
going to say, if he was any higher than bench at best, I'd know more about him probably. But if he was any lower than bench at best, his stats wouldn't be as respectable as they are for a club that low down.
Nah, I'm going
to say bench at best.
I reckon transfer list personally. I don't know what you guys think.
Same here.
Where's the reason here?
I know you're trying to defend him because, he's doing okay for Norwich, but there's a reason he's at Norwich, and he's not he's not one of their best players. He's a fairly average player who starts for them, and his competition at centre mid is Alexander Tetty. I mean,
how did Tetty not make our choices? He's brilliant.
Is he?
No, he's definitely. He's definitely.
The reason I put him on transfer list is he doesn't do anything. And yeah, he's played a defensive mid and attacking mid. But just because he's done that doesn't mean he's that good. I mean, okay, yeah, he did fairly decent when he played attacking mid, when we're looking at average rating and that. But again, 9 games at attacking mid, 1 assist.
Yeah, but
I know it's Norwich.
It's not always about the goals and assists.
Okay, well, key passes, 0.6 key passes per game. I mean, come on. Like, come on. He's transfer list. He's not offering
Norwich barely have the ball.
There's a reason for that. It's because their midfielders can't keep it.
It's because it just...
Right, Neil, Collins, your opinions?
Go on, Neil.
Transfer list for Neil and for Collins.
I feel really harsh doing this, but I genuinely have no opinion on this man other than transfer list because there's just nothing about him that screams that he should be in the Prem. No one's signing him when Norwich go down.
I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool put in a cheeky bid for a relegated club player. Yeah. Right,
yeah,
Neil.
Look, all right, yeah, but look, come on, Norwich go down. There's only 3 people. There's only 3 people in that squad that people might go for. Actually, 4. Actually, there's quite a few I'd have in the Norwich squad.
there's actually a lot. Max Aarons, Ben Godfrey, Jamal Lewis, Todd Cantwell, Buendia, and Pukki.
Even Krull, if I could get him for cheap.
I knew you were going to say Tim Krull.
I mean, all of those players are good buys. I mean, Max Aarons, one of the highest valued right backs in the world football right now.
Meant to be, yeah. Right. Anyway, Neil, we have been going through the dregs a bit right now. Please tell us you got something good for us.
How about Ruben Neves?
Ooh.
There's a player well known for his long-range spectacular strikes. A player who's been very important to Wolves moving up the league. A very, very good midfielder.
Very good. Excellent, in fact.
Only 23 as well.
Oh, that is a bit rough when you hear players like 23, 22. When you know you're older than a footballer, it makes you question your existence a bit.
I think the debate here is did the Championship make him look better than he is? Because he's definitely done a lot better in the Championship than in the Prem.
I mean, that's the step up, isn't it?
But to be fair, though, back to Mangan's point of us question, well, you can speak for yourself, but I would have made it if it wasn't for my knee injury, which I actually have. Well, it's just actually a lie. I do actually have a knee injury. For anyone who doesn't know, it's I would have made it.
Which is everyone.
No, I meant the people listening. But anyway, Ruben Neves. Yeah, obviously he's going to look better in the Championship because it's worse quality. But I mean, I still think I agree with Neil. He's a good midfielder. But go ahead.
Okay. I think Ruben Neves is one of those players who's either a bit like Dele Alli. He's either everywhere doing everything and he'll score an absolute screamer and you'll walk away from that match thinking, oh my word, what a player Ruben Neves is. Or you forget that he played. I think the weird thing about Neves is just the way his career went due to the dodgy dealings that is Portuguese football. And what's Mendes, is it the agent who's involved? Who's his agent?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just when you go from starting in the Champions League for Porto to go into the Championship in Wolverhampton. Yeah, of course he looked amazing in the Championship. It's because he's an amazing player. It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of you put a lot of these players into the Championship, they're gonna look good. Maybe not Kevin McLean or Kenny McLean. But look, Ruben Neves, he's a guy who you can happily have just sit back, let him get the ball. He'll either find a pass or he'll take off an amazing shot. He's not the greatest defensively, I find, though he is someone that is definitely willing to try. I do like that. He works hard. 9 yellow cards this season. That's more than Xhaka, I'll point out.
What would you describe his midfield role as?
His midfield role, just a deep line playmaker. Not as necessarily as a holding midfield. I think he firmly sits in the middle third, maybe the upper middle third of the pitch. gets the ball and he looks around to see what he can do best with it. He's not someone who's going to like try and look to get in the box late on like a Dele Alli. He's similar to Andre Gomez in that regard, I feel.
Yeah, I was going to say he kind of similar style to Andre Gomez.
Yeah, just with a bit more end product.
But really, 2 goals in 29 games this season and 1 assist.
I mean, that's better than Andre Gomez's 0.
But Andre Gomez has played 12 games. Ruben Neves has played 29.
Andre Gomez is. I never went into a game thinking Andre Gomez is going to score today.
The thing is, Ruben Neves is something of a highlight reel in the sense of the goals he scores. Like, you're waiting for it. Like, you're kind of expecting it in a sense because he has scored quite a few screamers.
They were all mostly in the Championship, though.
A few of them were, but you've got a couple of others.
He scored some screamers in the Prem. He scored some screamers in Europe.
I get what you're saying. He's a bit of a highlight reel player in terms of that. But I know I feel like I've been a little bit negative. I do rate him. I think he's a great player, but I'm just.
He has funnily never scored a goal in the box for once.
That's a great stat. That.
I was going to say though, when you said about the 2 goals in 2019, that I think he has dropped off this season compared to last, in just his performances. I mean, Wolves have gotten a lot better this year, but they're competing. They might get top 4. I hope they do. That'd be amazing.
I don't think they've necessarily been a lot better this year. I think they've overall probably not been as good. It's just more the the Premier League as a whole has become something where a lot of big teams lose matches nowadays. So it allows other clubs to not be at their best but not be punished for it.
No, but points wise they're gonna get better and I don't know. I just feel. I mean, the run they're on now as well.
I think it's only really until lately though that they've managed to. Yeah, this run's kind of where you're going to think, oh, they're going to be even better than last season. It's like if that run continues, yeah, sure they will. But if they end up revolving, going back to their previous form, then
I'm looking stats wise is tackles, interceptions, clearances, blocks are all down by like 0.5. Again, I know it's not all stats, but I'm just putting it out there. And then obviously he's got less goals, less assists. Not that he got that many, anyways. No real stats are going up for him, like at all. I mean, sorry, he now does 0.7 dribbles per game as opposed to 0.3 last season. I mean, it's, so I think compared to last season, he's definitely dropped off a little bit. Not that he's playing terribly or anything. It's just, I think he personally, for me, goes squad player.
I would have put him first team.
I'd say first team as well.
I think he's like Andre Gomez in a sense, but with more end product.
I think that's hard. That's hard to say when he's got 2 goals and 1 assist this season.
Not when you're comparing him to a player with 0 goals and 0 assists.
Right,
in 12 games.
But João Moutinho is outperforming him.
Yeah, I think João Moutinho is a better player.
But how many midfielders do you want to put first team then if you put those in?
I think know how you
of them are first team.
I don't know how you put Neves better than Neves is the same level as Gomez. Like I don't get that. I don't understand how he could be a whole tier above Gomez. They're very similar levels.
You thought Gomez was first team player?
It's a good point.
Oh wow! Oh no, you've actually just lost.
No. Well, no.
Because you've lost all credibility.
No, but the only reason I'm putting Ruben Neves there is because I'm putting him on the stage.
No. Forget what you think about what players actually are. You think Gomez is a first team player. You think Neves is as good. That logically means you think Neves is first team player.
Because
that just means you've underrated Gomez.
I've changed my mind. First team player.
Oh.
I've just realised what I was saying.
Neil, you chose him. What do you think about him?
Squad player, probably.
Thank you.
I agree with the Gomez comparison, to be honest. Similar kind of players. Neither of them really do too much that's they don't score, don't really assist. Just Ruben Neves has the big spectacular goal factor, but they're similar.
Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm moving Andre Gomez to a squad player, and I'm putting Neves on the same level as him.
Oh my God, this is so confusing.
I've overrated Andre Gomez, I think.
Yeah, obviously.
So is he going squad player then?
He's going squad player.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to argue against that, but like my words, ever since you joined, Ritson, our lists have become so much more negative.
We only see the worst now.
I know.
You can't put that on me. I'm not having that.
Ritson, for the love of God, give us a diamond in the rough.
Oh, is it back to me?
Yeah.
Is it not Paddy?
No, Paddy chose.
Oh, Paddy did McLean. See, I keep forgetting them.
Yeah, he's so forgettable.
I needed to get him out of the way.
I am gonna go on. I'll give us a bit of happy. Well, I mean, considering who we support, probably not the best happiness, but I'm gonna go with Bruno Fernandes.
Okay.
Now, he's only been in the Premier League for about 5 minutes, so it's a bit hard to like completely judge, I guess. But considering what he's done since he arrived in the Premier League and how he performed in the Portuguese league, even though it's not the most, representative of someone's true abilities at the top level, he's, obviously smashed it. I mean, and then he's carried that on into, Man United, who before he came were kind of doing pretty average, and since he arrived, they've not lost a game, I don't think, in all competitions. And they've beaten the likes of City and Chelsea in there as well. He's got 5 goals, 3 assists in 8 games. Then you look at what he's done for Sporting: 8 goals, 7 assists in 17. Last season, 20 goals and 13 assists in 33. I mean, the guy might take a million shots per game, but he's inevitably, undeniably got class about him, and he's a real talent who's definitely helped to change things around for Man United this season, and that takes a lot considering how they've been the last few years. Has anyone else got any different thoughts on Bruno?
Well, I'm not judging him just on his individual ability this season. I think the difference he's made to Man United is being unreal. They look like Man United again since he's come in. And that can't be understated. And that's where I think the main reason I'm going to stick him pretty highly on this list.
I think just to talk a bit more about what he was doing in Portugal is the fact that in 83 games he got 39 goals. That's a striker's return.
That is.
It's impressive.
He was top goal scorer in the Portuguese league with genuinely, I feel like he got 30 goals in a season, but I need to fact check.
It was in the Portuguese league. The highest he's got is 20, which I mentioned.
Oh, was it 20?
But he got 33 goal contributions. So maybe.
Right. That must be what I was thinking of.
Yeah. And then one other thing I'd just like to point out quickly is if you look at his last full year in Portugal and the half season he had there this year, his average rating was 7.83 last season, 7.82 for this season, and then when he joined United, the 8 games he's played, it's 7.91. So I honestly don't think there's going to be much debate here. I'd be kind of surprised if it is, but I think he's got to go in world class.
He does.
He has to.
He's fantastic.
I wasn't going to put him world class.
And when you compare him to other Premier League midfielders,
the standards for world class you've got to set really high.
So what? His first team with Andre Gomez?
No, I said.
Sorry. You changed your mind after Collins.
I can change my mind.
You only changed your mind because you didn't want to put Ruben Neves in first team.
No. I realised I made a mistake. I realised I'd been too generous. But I'm saying first team player. I think we need to see more before we can categorise him as world class. It's early days to just go straight in with a world class. I mean, he's only had 8 Premier League appearances with United. We can't just go straight in with a world class. I think that's too generous.
He started strong. There is no denying that whatsoever. He started really strong, but there are players that start strong and then filter out. I'm not saying that's going to happen because I reckon he's probably going to get better. But at the moment, because he is starting, I'm saying first.
Yeah, I think you need to be a bit more like patient and be a bit more like not as hasty when just going straight in with a world class because he's had 8 good games. Like I know he's had great performances in Portugal, but
okay, I'm just saying
in his last players have good performances in Portugal.
In his last, go on.
All right, one of you speak.
It wasn't us.
What? You said Ritson went go on to you?
No, that was Neil who was speaking.
Oh, Neil.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say like I think you need to judge him like the world class thing for us. It's a place on a tier, right? It's not an award. So for that, I would say like right now the guy certainly is looking world class, right? But at this second, he's looking world class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
Isn't that what we should judge it on? It's not an award for like lifetime achievement. It's where the player's at like right now.
Yeah. The only, I guess, counter would be how he did before he went to Sporting, where he kind of flopped in Italy. But again, that's years ago. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That was years ago, and he's clearly showing that it's not just that. I mean, I was going to say in his last 58 league games, he has 56 goals and assists. I mean, for a midfielder. I mean, I know he's attacking midfielder, but I mean, that's ridiculous.
There's a difference between saying, "Oh, yeah, it's Portugal," when someone's getting like 12 goals, 12 assists but when you're literally the top goal scorer in a league from central midfield, it doesn't matter what league that's in. That still proves you're amazing.
Yeah, but it doesn't prove you're world class. The standards for being world class are very high. And I think we need to see a bit more of him before we put him there.
Once again, this is from the person who wanted to put Andre Gomez in first team player at first. You went from being too generous with Andre Gomez to being too harsh on Bruno Fernandes.
I mean, neither of these arguments are that crazy. To put Andre Gomez 1 tier above what you thought and Bruno Fernandes 1 tier below what you thought, that's hardly that crazy.
You also put Granit Xhaka at transfer list.
Exactly. Again, like 1 tier below it. Most people, it's not that crazy.
It is a tough
voting time.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, who wants to vote first? I think we've got 2 world classes in me and Ritson.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've got 3, haven't you? I'm saying first team player.
I'm saying first team player. Like my standards are higher than yours. Like,
whoa, that sounded like a shot. That
he's a scout. Didn't you know Paddy was a scout?
To be fair though, this is from the man who doesn't like guitars. No, Neil, what is your vote?
I said world class.
All right, yeah, there we go.
All right. Nice.
Back to you, Mangan.
Right. Who am I going for here? You know what? I am going to go for an English national, someone who's should probably be in the England team right now, in my opinion. I'm going to go with James
John Joe Shelby. Oh,
wow. I'm going to go with James Prowse.
I was genuinely terrified you were going to say John Joe Shelby there.
I actually thought you were going to say James Madison.
Wait, James Ward-Prowse?
Yeah.
Oh, that surprises me. I thought you were going to say James Madison. I was sure you were going to say James Madison.
James Ward-Prowse. I think he is first team player. I think he is.
You think he's the same level as Bruno Fernandes?
I can't be arsed anymore. You can't have a go at me for negativity.
These tears are literally too much for me.
But you can't. I'm sorry. We can't have Ward-Prowse on the same level of what you thought Bruno Fernandes.
Hang on a second. I do have a counter to this. When we did the music tier, we had this debate about My Ears Are Bleeding, and there was Baby Don't Hurt Me with Crazy Frog and What the Fox Say, and clearly they're not the same level of song. Clearly, what's the song called again that Mangan picked? It's not bad. I can't.
What is Love?
What is Love?
Love, yeah. I mean, clearly we know that that's much worse than What the Fox Say. It's clear as day. But the thing is, there's tiers for a reason. That doesn't mean they're as good. You know, there's going to be some variances.
Yeah, there are tiers within tiers.
Well, I do get it, but oof. James Ward-Prowse is first. Oh, right. Okay. Go ahead.
Right. I think he is the glue that keeps Southampton. Southampton have had an okay-ish season. Like, I thought they were going to get relegated after that horror show against Leicester, but fair play, they have actually done all right since then. Like, Hasenhutl's brought it back. And he was given the captaincy halfway through the season, and he has absolutely turned it around. Like, did anyone watch the Watford game? Was it on Sunday?
I thought Southampton played great.
He played great, and he scored an absolutely great free kick. Like, I think he is a very good player, and I think he is first team. I think he should be coming on the England contention pretty soon, really.
Here's my view on him. I don't know if he's that much more than a great set piece taker. I don't know if he's that much more than that.
That is a good point. You could argue, like similar to Ruben Neves, he is a bit of a highlight reel generator.
You know what though? I can actually sort of see where Mangan's coming from, which I don't.
I got slated for putting these people in one tier. Oh, unbelievable.
I'm not saying I would put him in the first team, but I can see the praise behind it.
I can see the praise behind it.
I can see the, and I would only go to squad player with him. Like, that's the lowest I would go. But I can see why he might say first team. I mean, you know, again,
if for Andre Gomez, he having a laugh.
Andre Gomez just looks good, but shut up. Right.
Oh, same as Keita, anyway.
No.
Keita's not on this list. You're not allowed to talk about him.
He said him. He
should have been a bonus submission.
Anyway, all right. If we look at stats, I know, like, as I said, you're gonna hate me for stats, but we look at who scored, which we did say is a good source. He's averaging 2.4 tackles a game, 1.5. I mean, he's win the ball back at least 4 times a game, which is pretty damn good. You know, he's 1.8 clearances is good. And then he's got 5 goals and 3 assists for a centre mid. That's not bad. Southampton centre mid too. That's pretty decent. You know, he's not playing attacker mid or anything. He's playing, you know, central too. So I think that is good. And okay, maybe he's, you know, set pieces is one of his big things. But at the end of the day, set pieces are really important now. I mean, look at Liverpool. We scored the most corners and free kicks in the entire league, like quite a few more than anyone else. And look how that's panning out for us.
Everton have scored the most corners in the league.
I swear Liverpool did.
No, they showed the stat with the during the Everton Leicester game. Everton have scored the most with 10.
But you barely scored. Never mind. Anyway, 1.6 key passes, only 0.4 dribbles, but whatever. But I think he is a good player, and obviously, Cons, you'll have probably very fond memories of him, you know, because he was a wonder kid on Football Manager and you used to go Southampton. I'm going to wait for everyone else to say their piece before I finalise where I'd put him. But that's what I think of him as a player anyway.
Yeah, James Ward-Prowse was a player with he didn't have a position for quite a while, didn't he? When he was first coming up to Southampton. It's only until this year that he's managed to fully solidify himself as he is a centre mid, because they like to play him out wide a lot due to his crossing ability, and also the fact that they had Hodgberg and Stephen Davis manning central midfield for them. But yeah, Hodgberg, just quick to say, he's had a bit of a downfall this season, hasn't he? Which has led to Ward-Prowse taking his place. In fact, wasn't he the captain until Ward-Prowse took it from him?
It's about Hodgberg, and that is being caused by his future because he is yet to agree.
Well, he said he wanted to leave in an interview, so you think, he got stripped of the captaincy or something like that.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, like I said, James Ward-Prowse has taken this opportunity and ran with it. He feels like, he is everything about Southampton. And you'd just like to see it. I personally do agree with Mangan. I reckon he should be in the England setup. Maybe not like, starting every game, but I mean, Dele Alli's in the England setup, and I think he's better than Dele Alli.
I do as well.
I don't believe what. I don't believe what I'm hearing. I got slated.
Paddy, I think he's squad player.
Actually, you know what? I don't mind as long as I haven't been roundly left out the building like Paddy was. I think he's first team, but Neil, do you have anything to say on him?
I have to admit, I wrote down in my notes for this the same thing Paddy said. I thought he was kind of like that kind of person, he takes the set pieces and very little else. I've always kind of noticed, like everyone seems to have like quite a lot of hype for Ward-Prowse, right? Like pundits and all that. But I have to admit, when I've like seen with my own eyes, I've never really been that impressed, to be honest. But I mean, if the statistics tell a different story, then that's it. I'd probably put him as a squad player personally.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with everything Neil just said. I'll stick him squad player.
I think we're going squad player anyway, but I think we've established
I would just like
he's higher squad player.
No,
I would just like to put it out there. He's Southampton's highest average rated player on Who Scored, with the third most tackles, second most interceptions, and then goals wise, second, assist wise, joint top. So I know it's Southampton, they're not that.
I think before this season I would have put a bench at best, but I think this.
To be fair, I would agree with you. I would agree with you before this season. This is clear difference this season in just.
I think he's had a good season.
Everything.
I'm Neil though. I've never been that impressed by him when I've actually watched him in a full game, and he is a player that gets a lot of highlight reels because of his set pieces. But I can't look at the stats this season and deny what I'm seeing.
Right. All right, then.
I'll say
bench your best. Sorry, yeah, squad player. That's my own pick. Yeah, squad player. So anyway, Collins, what have we got?
All right, then. You know what? I think it's been a while since we talked about an absolute rubbish player. So I'm going to talk about Philip Billing.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Quickly, everyone get the laptops out. Quickly, hurry. The internet's not that fast. He's a nothing player for me. I'm sorry. He seems like a nice guy.
How do you spell Billing?
Let me.
Come on, Collins. Stay your pitch.
Philip Billing was just awful for Huddersfield, and Huddersfield got relegated. And in typical Eddie Howe fashion, he thought, yeah, that's who I want to sign. This is probably going to be more of a run at Eddie Howe for a second, but my word, has he just destroyed Bournemouth as a club. Like, fair play to him, he took them up to the Premier League, but Jesus, rose-tinted glasses have kept him has kept him there for so much longer than he should be. He should have been sacked 2 seasons ago. And they're going to get relegated this season. And it's entirely because of Eddie Howe.
I have to say, I was really surprised that Billing got a shot at Bournemouth, like a second shot in the Premier League, because I just saw him, like I said, as a bit of a nothing player. He didn't do anything that was massively fancy. He maybe scored a goal or two, but that was about it, really, for me.
Here's one for you. Last season, he had the second highest number of successful defensive duels per 90.
But
because he's
6'7".
Unit.
He's 6'7".
He's an absolute unit, and going up against other centre mids, of course, he's able to win the defensive duels.
I have to agree with Collins. I watched him last season. I know that's a first. Watching him last season for Huddersfield, whenever I watched him, I looked at him when I first saw him. I thought, my God, this guy's a unit. This guy could be amazing. And he was awful. Like, he just did nothing with the attributes he has. I feel he could be so much better, but he's not, because he's not that brilliant a footballer, to put it simply.
Yeah,
I think
he can't control the ball. He can't pass.
I think he's got where
he
is mainly because of his physical attributes.
He's basically just Jordan Henderson if he didn't get lucky.
But what?
I'm joking.
What is interesting to me, this is why I don't like basing things off stats, is Who Scored rating is 7.0 for the season.
I was thinking, yeah.
But which is, maybe we just haven't seen enough of Bournemouth, and maybe he's been doing all right for them. But what I've seen of him, he's just not a great player, and I'd easily have him transfer list right now.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Again, looking at the stats, if you look at just stats, I mean, most tackles for Bournemouth, second most interceptions, and second highest rating. I mean, again, they're doing terribly. And, Collins' points about Eddie Howe had some, I had some to it, and
Eddie
some
Howe.
truth to it.
Part of me dies every time Eddie Howe gets linked to the Everton job.
Oh, I love that so much. Anyway, but again, there is more to football than stats. I know you might be shocked, and this guy has to be on the transfer list, doesn't he? Really,
15 million.
15 million.
I think it's meant. I'm not gonna lie. I think if we put any Bournemouth midfielder in, really, it would have went transfer list.
Nah, Dan Gosling will be one.
Oh, shut up!
Scored last game
in a 4-1 defeat to Newcastle. Up the tune, by the way. Up the tune. Right.
Speaking of the tune.
Oh, hang on. Neil hasn't been allowed to say anything about Philip.
That was a perfect transition, and you ruined it.
There's not much to say. It's probably transfer list.
There we go. Now,
speaking of the tune,
let's go to Sheffield United.
Let's talk about John Joe Shelby. Sorry.
Wow.
First team player immediately. Shut up. Yeah.
I was genuinely considering putting the image of Lord Voldemort instead of Shelby as a picture, but I thought that's a bit harsh. I'll just make a joke about him instead.
Oh yeah, that's much better. Much better.
No, but to be fair, I always liked him when he was at Liverpool. I always thought he could be something because his range of passing is top notch. But I feel like he could have been more with his career.
Also, don't forget he did give the finger to Fergie after getting a red card.
Listen,
that means a lot. That means a lot.
Didn't he?
I'm sorry, you can't use how well someone was at 18 as something positive towards them, because you always look at a youth player coming through, especially your academy, as he's going to be special, and you ignore mistakes he makes, and you ignore all his faults because you always think, they'll get solved easily.
I'm not using that to rate him. I'm just saying.
Was he your academy?
I'm just saying when I first saw him for Liverpool, I thought
signed them from like QPR or something.
I thought this guy's going to be something because of his range of passing was excellent. It was Gerrard-esque at that point. I was saying.
Oh, no,
it was.
No. I agree. What? I was going to say, when all those years back, we kind of thought with the way he sort of played, we didn't think we ever thought he'd be as good or anything like that. But we did kind of. I do remember feeling a Gerrard-esque vibe from him, even though obviously
with his range of passing, maybe not other aspects of his play, but with his range of passing, the way he struck the ball was similar. I thought he had so much potential, and I think he's gone on to have a decent career, but maybe not as good as it could have been for him.
Yeah, I think it could have been a lot better for him.
I think you two are being very generous comparing him in any way to Gerrard.
No, I'm not comparing him to Gerrard. He's nowhere near the level, but he had that kind of vibe when he was young. He kind of looked like he was going to be that type of player. He's gone nowhere near that level.
He had a few years at Swansea, then he went to Newcastle, and he's done all right at Newcastle. That's really because it's Newcastle, and up until a few weeks. Sorry, not a few weeks. Until he was a bit of a diamond in the mud,
what?
Diamond in the
what? What?
Diamond in the rough. There was no one else that you could really describe except for John Joe Shelby. Sean Longstaff and Matty Longstaff were coming up. Who else was there? Ki Sung Young, is it?
Ki Sung Young?
Yeah.
Diame, but it wasn't very good.
He was the only solid midfielder at Newcastle.
Consistent performer.
Yeah, he was consistent.
You know what, lads? He was the Gary McLean of that side.
Kenny McLean.
Oh, God, stop talking.
Oh stop talking.
I'm gonna get his name right eventually.
Stop talking about Kenny McLean.
It's all Kelly all over again.
It's been so much. There's been so much bad things said by you, Collins, just because there was another one R. Kelly and someone else.
Nothing as bad as R. Kelly.
Yeah, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly in our city.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think it was fountains of suns instead of fountains of wine. and the best one, Googling jerk it off.
Oh no!
yeah.
Hold on. He called passenger patience.
Oh yeah. There is it's so bad.
Now, I may have been drinking during that episode.
You need speech therapy, Colin.
No, let's do a tier list of speech. Colin's on the bottom one.
Look, right. John Joe Shelby is just... How has this man played 6 times for England? He's awful.
I mean, to be fair, England aren't blessed in the midfield area in recent years.
I mean, Leon Osman played once.
Exactly. He's 10 times the player that John Joe Shelby is.
That's harsh. I think John Joe Shelby's got talent. I mean, if you look at his rating this season, 7.1, 5 goals in 19 games. Not bad for his style of play. I think he's had quite a good season.
He's Newcastle's top scorer.
I think he's had quite a good... I mean, I know it's not hard to be Newcastle's top goal scorer, but there's still something impressive about that, considering that's not his game at all.
I'm just looking through the tiers, and we've already got 4 squad players. I think we're literally going to have a full...
Yeah, I know, we usually have that.
Transfer list.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Paddy. You wanted to put Granit Xhaka on the transfer list. John Joe Shelby has just as bad an attitude as Xhaka.
But I think John Joe Shelby's a better player.
Yeah, but he's in no way a better player.
I think
you put Gomez squad player, Colin, so... And Shelby's better than him.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
You?
Yes, he is.
How dare you?
How dare you?
I reckon he's a good player. I reckon he's a good player, to be honest. I feel like he's the kind of player who you actually don't really want to see on the ball. Like, he's the kind of player who can pick out a good pass, like on a break or something, set a man free.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him on the ball because I don't want to see him at all.
Is this because he looks like Voldemort?
I like Harry
Potter. Is it because you look like Harry Potter?
I'm a Potterhead. If anything, that's the one positive thing about John Joe Shelby.
It's because you look like Harry Potter and you're scared of your enemy.
Don't sleep, Colin. John Joe Shelby's going to come in.
Avada Kedavra, mate.
Personally, I think it's a mix between. It's going to be between squad player, and bench at best for me.
I'm going to vote for squad player.
Oh, you're just the worst human being.
Okay.
I think he's talented.
Okay, Ritson.
I think first team. Squad player.
I'm
joking. Squad player.
Well, you've got to have a go at him now.
Neil.
Squad player.
Oh.
You're all horrific.
Would you look at
people.
that?
You are all horrific people.
Well, who's wrong?
This is Callum Wilson all over again.
Except you've lost.
No, it's not.
It's one decent season he's having, and suddenly you think he's great.
It's not one decent season.
It is.
He's had more.
Shelby's had several decent seasons.
No, he's not.
Yes, he has.
He's rubbish.
Well, I mean, you could say that, but you're not really backing it up with anything.
Sorry, all right. Yeah, you want to use his stats about how he's got a 7.09 this season. What about every other season he's had except the one in the championship, which is below 6.9?
They've all been higher than Gomez's seasons at Everton.
Right. So. Before we say something very mean, Neil, who have you got?
Burnley are doing okay. How about we go with Burnley? Wow, there's a boring player for a boring.
He is perfect for Burnley.
Mate.
He's the master of the sideways and backwards pass, Ashley Westwood. I still remember years ago when he played for Villa, and their fans absolutely hated him with a passion because it was like he had some mental block on the ability to pass the ball forwards. And I feel like maybe at Burnley he's actually found the right role. He can do that boring kind of thing in that boring little team. And he seems to be doing a pretty good job.
Well, can I bring up an interesting statistic, actually, for this season? Despite having a 6.8 rating, he has actually registered 6 assists.
That's It's very. So I was very surprised when I just saw that. Then 6 assists.
I was literally expecting like a 2-1, 2-2 sort of thing. Like
less than that. I was expecting 0-0.
Yeah, like as Neil said, he isn't someone that you can be inspired by. You think, oh, get in, Ashley Westwood's playing. I can't wait to see him.
But that kind of sums up Burnley. I think he kind of just fits Burnley.
I mean, if that's the case, then he's probably
He's a boring, miserable, worthless, unwatchable footballer.
I think that's what Burnley are. They buy players who are Burnley. They buy players who represent Burnley. Just players that are going to give their all, not super talented. We'll put a shift in, we'll put a tackle in. Not much more.
I mean, I think Will Mackenzie summed it up perfectly about Burnley and football. We can't obviously repeat it. We've got to keep it PG here. But yeah, that's all I'll say.
We know the quote.
Yeah, everyone knows the quote.
Great quote.
You don't educate yourself.
I don't think there's not much to say about Ashley Westwood, honestly.
Yeah, he's one of those players.
He's one of those players.
He's another Kenny McLean.
I think he's a bit better than Kenny McLean.
I think when he was at Aston Villa, I thought he was okay then. He's never been one of those players who's ever going to do anything to wow you. But when I watch him, I don't think there's a terrible player who needs transfer list.
I personally put him bench at best. I think that's fair.
I would agree.
He got 7 assists last season as well. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite shocking,
suits,
but
I guess it suits their approach.
He's got
takes the set pieces, guys.
Set pieces.
Yeah, he takes their corners.
I suppose,
but then again, he plays for Burnley. They need someone who's good at set pieces. That's important to their team because they're Burnley.
But I mean, if you look him up, we've put Philip Billing there, transfer list, because he's played badly. Can we really say Ashley Westwood's played badly? Like,
I'd agree with the bench at best.
He's the perfect player for the Burnley system.
I think he's done well at Burnley, but
it's the worst compliment you could give someone.
He's done pretty well at Burnley, and he does a good job for them. But I can't have him any higher than bench at best because it's Ashley Westwood.
Collins, Neil, do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
I refuse to speak on regards of still seething over John Joe Shelby at squad player.
Yeah,
I'd see even Andre Gomez being there. So,
like Neil said, he's far from inspiring, but he gets the job done. So, Rickson.
Oh, back to me.
Yeah, we're back to you already.
I don't know.
It's not that hard.
I'll say that. I'm going to go with another English midfielder. I'm going to go with James Maddison.
Okay.
And yeah, that's right. Give me the oohs and the ahs. Yeah, a guy who has not got a goal or an assist in a lot of games. In fact, since New Year's Day, he got 1 goal on New Year's Day, and he hasn't contributed to a goal since. But that being said, I still think he's a good player.
Okay.
Talented player, creative, scores, etc. Does more than just goals, assists. I think he creates plays. The whole assist to assist kind of thing. Obviously, it's not a stat, and it can be seen as stupid, but you get what I mean. Like creating those spaces in behind for someone to then pass across to Vardy or someone to put it in, for example. I think he's clearly one of Leicester's key players, and he's had a bit of a bad second half of the season, end product wise, but at the end of the day, I still notice him every time Leicester have played. Obviously, he's more of an attack-minded centre mid, so that is easier, but I do think he kind of sets the play for Leicester in terms of them moving forward. So I don't have too much bad to say about him.
I've watched a lot of Leicester since come back. That's really stuck out to me as that boy's shooting is really erratic. The amount in that Everton game, I'm sure I saw at least once a shot that went miles away from the goal, and I've seen that in I think I watched another 2 Leicester games, and that really stuck out to me because he's such a tidy player in lots of other ways, but his shooting's
Could we compare it perhaps to Dele Alli in a sense that Leicester have gone down a bit in recent weeks? Even before the lockdown, they hadn't won in like 4 or 5 games. Like, as the squad's gone down, so has the player.
I think he's been injured though as well, James Maddison.
Has he been injured a bit?
I think so. I know he missed games recently.
He's participated in 31 Premier League matches.
And there's been 32 so far this season.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's easy to get people confused, so it's not like a major thing. But it's fair. Leicester have struggled in the few games since come back, and even before then, I think they were struggling.
I don't think he was playing.
Again, Paddy, he's played 31 out of 32 games this season.
Yeah, no, he missed one of the games.
Okay. So he missed one.
I think it was. I think it was the first game back.
It's 1 out of 3. That's quite high.
Yeah, but Leicester have been poor since the start of January. I think they went. No. In the first half of the season, they were averaging 2.2 points a game, and since the second half of the season, it's been 1. They've had a massive drop off in form, and it's not just been coming back from lockdown has caused it. Rodgers' tactics have been figured out. They've not been able to recover. Vardy's not been able to score, and Maddison's not really been able to do anything as well. But so's the entirety of the Leicester team.
Well, this is a very small period, and I don't think we can judge him too much off that.
It's as large as the first half of the season.
3 games.
Oh my word! The second half of the season is when they've been rubbish.
No, I was talking about after lockdown.
Yeah, but I was talking about an entire half a season.
Because he's saying how Leicester's form has dropped off since the start of 2020, which is maybe it's a run of things. Like, all good things just don't happen this year. So even the whole dream about Leicester doing so well, and even they fell off. I mean, this year's really poor. But yeah, I was going to say for you that's another thing. But Maddison, 3rd highest key passes in the league. Chances created. Like, he's clearly really talented, even if he's end product wise not quite showing. The second half of the season could just be a bit of bad luck here and there. It's can be a bit of a variance with assists and how good you actually are at creating chances. Does anyone else have anything different to say about Maddison?
Well, it's not necessarily different, but last season I think he had the most chances created in the entire league. I think he was around,
because it was Ryan Fraser. It was a very big point of my Callum Wilson's overrated argument.
I swear I remember something about 100 chances created or something though from Maddison, and they said something about top 5 European leagues, and he was like right up there. But I can't remember fully the statistics.
Probably up until New Year's, I could put him first team player, but he's just dropped off to such a degree. I don't know.
I think James Ward-Prowse is better.
Okay. Oh.
Neil, what do you think? Because he is certainly an interesting character.
Sorry, I'm a slight bit of sound issue. Sorry.
Oh god. No, but okay. Everyone put in some filler. Anyone got any adverts to state? Sponsored by anyone?
Yeah, this week we're sponsored by Pornhub.
Oh no!
This week we're sponsored by Salt. As in the salt that I feel over your guys' opinions.
Today,
also, way to give us our first content warning for Neil.
We're
sponsored by Anger Management this week.
Unfortunately, I didn't even hear what was said because I just lost my internet connection for a second.
God.
So whatever the content warning was, I did miss it.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. We're still in the clear. But what do you think about James Maddison, Neil? Because he is like an interest. Like, he's dropped off a bit since New Year's, but I'd say he's probably first team player beforehand.
Yeah, I think that's fair, isn't it? Everyone can see, like, the boy's got a glimmer of talent, hasn't he? He's definitely, a very creative player who can start moves, get involved, Like I said, for me, his shooting is still a little erratic, but, you feel like he'll get better. I feel like in the future he's going to be an absolutely great player.
I think the only person James Madison's younger than in this call, Neil, is you. You just call them the boy.
Oh.
I don't like talking about that. That really annoys me. No, but you know what? Let's put it to a vote now. I'm going first team player.
To me, he's squad player. I think he's overrated.
First team player. I think he had pretty much the most chances created last season and the second most chances created this season.
Neil?
I think that's outstanding.
Turns out he's actually 3 weeks younger than me. And I'd probably put him in the first team.
Okay,
we got our first team player on the list. Right. So, right now, I am debating whether to have a massive argument, a giant debate, or to have a 2-minute just so I can put the pressure off someone else.
You know what? We just had spent quite a bit of time on Madison, so let's do a quick 2-minute. I reckon.
All right, sounds world class. Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, let's just put him there.
Like I do.
Okay.
Should we even talk about it a bit?
No, I think we got to talk about him. I mean,
best player in the Premier League. The man creates magic out of nothing. It's a joy to watch him every time he's on the pitch.
No, we're on about De Bruyne, not Keita.
Oh no!
You know what? I will give one thing to Naby Keita. You guys were so much worse in the derby when he went off.
Oh, I thought you were going to give Richard what he wanted, which in a sense you have. But
okay, let's.
I mean, we were terrible when he was playing and after he's playing. He did have a good game.
Yeah, there is nothing else to say about De Bruyne than he is world class. He is probably the best. I'm plain and simply, he's the best player in this tier list right now. Like, I don't think we've got anything else, have we? He's perfect.
Well.
Oh no!
What?
I'm going to rewind Back to the Future style. James Madison was the only player to create 100 goal-scoring chances in the Premier League last season.
He's been on his phone for the last 2 minutes, and I was wondering what he was doing.
I'm just going to drop the mic right there.
I thought he was messing with someone or something, and he was just
I believe Ryan Fraser did have the most big chances created, though.
Because I was so sure that was right. I was like, I'm not leaving. I'm not letting this one go.
No, fair enough, Paddy. Fair enough. Ryan Fraser did have the most big chances created, though.
Honestly, I don't even know who we're talking about.
The debate on De Bruyne is so short, you have to bring it back.
Oh, we're talking about De Bruyne. We're talking about De Bruyne. Oh, yeah, transfer list. No, yeah.
Neil, have you got anything to add about this wonderful
player? Best midfielder in the world, mate.
He's great, isn't he? There's a range of passing.
Actually, there's not much debate about him, so I might as well ask this question to the lads here. If City got the worst punishment by UEFA, so the 2-year suspension from Champions League, could you see him leaving?
Yes.
100%.
I think he even said something in an interview which kind of had it like as a implied, but not actually directly saying he would leave. It was like, I'll see what happens. That kind of thing. He'd want to leave. I mean, he's the best midfielder in the world. There's no way.
And he's 29, so he's coming towards like the latter stages of his career.
God, he's 29.
Yeah.
Jeez,
I remember when he was just a young reject at Chelsea.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
along with Salah and Lukaku.
2 years without Champions League football, he'd be 31. He'd have to leave. But in a sense.
And he needs to join Liverpool. Because that would be great.
Yeah, I don't think City would fancy selling.
It'd be so interesting to see like how City would do without De Bruyne, because
and Silva,
I think pretty well,
and Silva because they're losing him as well.
The one thing about De Bruyne is he's basically just Trent in midfield. That's about it, really.
Oh, you are looking for a fight.
Say Cater.
Yeah. Right.
Whoa. I don't think we've. I know we're not debating this, but I think we need to give him more credit than we have. Where would you rank him amongst players in the world?
He's in the top 5, certainly.
Yeah, he's in the top 5. I'd genuinely probably put him number 3. I'd put him behind Messi and Ronaldo.
I agree. I put him number 3.
Probably,
I'd put him number 3.
I can't think of an exact placement, but probably top 10, definitely, probably top 5.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see. This is a bit of a plug. If we were to do a all-time Premier League midfielders, where he would go on.
The problem with all-time ones is that what are we going to look for the all-time worst players?
I mean, I'm looking at Andy van der Meijden, to be honest with you. I don't know what you're
But the thing is...
I'm sorry, that man could do cocaine like no man I've ever witnessed. And he did get the assist for Dan Gosling's goal that no one saw.
Well, that's about it, really.
If no one saw it, did he really get the assist?
It's like when a tree falls in.
No, because everyone saw the cross. The ball just reached Gosling and Channel 5 went, you know what, mate? Everton ain't scoring this.
And the reason why Channel 5 never got a game again.
Never got the football.
Right. I think we're all agreed that De Bruyne, unbelievable.
Best player on the list, easy.
Right, so...
Remember when that was meant to be a short one and we decided to go into an Andy van der Meijden conversation?
You gotta give him you gotta give him credit. You can't pass over De Bruyne.
Got any debate for us, or are you giving us another easy one?
You know what? This is going to be an interesting one. Similar in the vein of we've talked about James Ward-Prowse and James Maddison. I'm going to talk about Aston Villa's Jack Grealish. To me, it's awkward to place him due to the fact that he is so much better than everything else in Aston Villa's team. But he does play for Aston Villa.
You know, obviously... he's talented, 7 goals, 6 assists this season. However, I really don't like him because I've had him in my fantasy team for weeks and weeks, and he hasn't single damn thing. I mean, he got he hasn't got a goal or an assist in like 6-7 weeks, and then before that was another few weeks. And that's just when I got him in. Was just after, he was looking like he was going to be consistent for the end of the season, keep getting some goals and assists, but no, he had to get nothing. But apart from my personal vendetta due to an online free game that no one really cares about, he's a good player, yeah.
Well, I think that's what you've just mentioned there is similar to what we were discussing about James Maddison.
True.
We know he's a good player, he just hasn't performed lately.
True, but still 7 goals, 6 assists.
He's
Villa.
Far and away Aston Villa's best player.
Aston Villa would be bottom of the league if it wasn't for Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Pretty much are anyway, but they'd have like 2 points. Just he is so far their best player.
This guy's going to go for 50 million in the summer.
I don't know about 50 million. I don't think
Aston Villa will go bankrupt if they do 50 if they don't accept an offer.
I don't think 50 million. I think that's too much.
In a post-COVID world,
I was going to say it probably would have been if
you're looking at more.
Situation.
You're looking at more 30, 35.
This player is just so good for him, and he's been there all his career so far.
There's an elephant in the room.
Is it?
His hairstyle.
My brother's got the Grealish hairstyle now.
Exactly.
Oh my God, what?
The final damning blow for Jack Grealish. He looks like a loaf of bread, mate. It looks like there's a loaf of bread in his head.
You gotta think he's got a good attitude on the pitch. Like you'd think he's got a bit of a bad attitude off it, like we've seen, but you have to think this guy got punched in the middle of a match by a fan.
Scored the winner.
His reaction to that was like so impressive because when something like that happens, you're shook. And
the first thing you do is fight back. You're
shook. You'd firstly want to fight back, which he didn't. He had control, and then secondly to react by scoring a goal. Like you'd be, I wouldn't be able to think about anything else during the game other than, oh my God, I've just been hit by a fan. I'd be shook. But for him to go and score, it's so impressive. I mean,
all right. I've learnt, guys, next time we do 5-a-side, I'm going to punch Paddy in the face at the start of the game. Be completely out of it for the rest of it.
No, you need to be on the same team so he gets pumped up for it. So he has...
Please don't do that. I've had a lot of surgery.
Imagine if we're
back to normal.
Imagine if we're in 5-a-side and not even one of us, someone from the guys in the next session just run out and punch Paddy straight in the face.
They see Paddy trying to do around the worlds in the middle of the game. It's like, I've had enough of this guy. But right, on Jack Grealish again. He's the most fouled player in the Premier League by miles, which shows like how good he is at not losing the ball, where he's able to just take it away from the defender in time and keep control and win his team, set pieces, which for Villa, considering they're one of those bottom teams, set pieces usually tends to be important for them. He's got second most key passes. I mean, he's miles off the ball, but who isn't? In the entire league. Dribbles, he does well in terms of successful dribbles, so he can carry the ball. And he's doing all that for Villa, and that can go both ways because Villa rely so much on him. They just give the ball to Grealish. You do something. Whereas if he was in a better team, he wouldn't do so well stats wise because he'd get the ball less. But again, without Grealish, I mean, Villa would be doing a derby right now.
Here's a good question. If you're Gareth Southgate and you've got the cam position, it's not filled, who are you picking, Grealish or Maddison?
James Ward-Prowse.
Dele Alli.
No!
John Joe Shelby. Get him in. No.
This is just rude.
What was the options? Maddison or Grealish?
Yeah.
I'd say Maddison. But Grealish would probably be on the wing.
I mean, really, the question is how close do they compare in ability?
I think they're incredibly close in ability. You're probably just going to want to go for Maddison because he's got the stats in a better team.
Yeah, so but do you think if you put Grealish in that lesser team, he's getting similar stats to Maddison?
I think he does better.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you can never tell for sure because some people can shine in a worse team because they're just so much better than everyone else.
Looking at you, Charlie Adam.
Yeah, I think also that they're not technically like same type of player. Like Grealish is more of a dribbler, Maddison's more of a passer. And they're not completely the same. There's similar aspects. So
honestly, my opinion of Jack Grealish is that he's a first team player in a transfer list team. And I think that is the best way to describe it.
Like, I could see Jack Grealish doing very well at a big team. So I'd probably agree first.
Neil, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's an absolutely fantastic way to sum it up. Yeah.
Like, he will thrive in the Premier League in a good team.
Like, you could just see him at Tottenham. Like,
I think he's going United this season,
They've already got enough, like, attacking.
I could see him going to Tottenham. He's been linked with them a lot.
But
but Tottenham aren't going to buy anyone now in a post-COVID world. Daniel Levy's got his excuse to never buy anyone again.
Swap deal.
All the money's gone.
Harry Kane for Grealish.
That's a fair deal. But yeah,
Harry Kane in the Championship. Oh, you thought Ruben Neves looked OP.
So yeah, who do you think first team? Sounds good?
Oh, I've already put him in there.
Oh, good. Excellent. I'm glad when a plan comes together.
So far, we've got 2 players in every tier except squad player, where we've ended up
honestly
with 5.
nice, lads. It's quite nice. I mean, the shape's looking a bit.
We need to quickly
a bit not PG, but
right,
not very girthy.
Oh, come on!
No, we don't say that. Right, who's next? Paddy, for the love of God.
Speaking of girth, let's talk about Fabinho. He's probably got good girth.
We're not talking about this.
No, actually, I don't actually want to talk about Fabinho. I want to leave him.
I've actually seen him having a really long, thin one. But
stop talking about this.
We're talking about passes, right?
No, it's just a joke. I want to get another boring one out of the way. We don't want to finish with like John Fleck, do we? So let's do John Fleck now.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe we do John Fleck and Gross like in one.
Bench your best, the pair of them.
No. Well, maybe, but
no.
But let's at least discuss it. Let's go.
Fleck has had a good fair play. 5 goals this season.
They're all pens.
Pretty good. No, a couple weren't because he did a decent one against United. Did an absolute mad one against United, like a goal and an assist in that 3-3 draw. But he is someone who isn't despite his half decent goal scoring record so far. he isn't someone who you think, oh my God, get in John Fleck's playing. He's...
You do if you're Sheffield United, though, because
maybe.
he's like, he just fits them so well. He's gonna be another one of those players who's gonna fight for every ball, and maybe he's not the most...
Westwood.
He is Ashley Westwood.
Yeah, but he's... Well, in a way. But maybe he's not the most technically gifted, but he's a massive, one of the massive reasons Sheffield United are doing as well as they are.
Let's be honest. Burnley and Sheffield United are in the same ballpark as in they don't really score, but they get the job done in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they're on a similar amount of points and they're playing each other, I think, this weekend or something like that.
Are they?
I think so, which usually you'd say...
That's going to be a
You'd say that's a terrible game, but it's kind of interesting to see how they compare, because you'd say there's sort of similar levels in a way.
Sheffield United did all right against Spurs. Oh my God, that I've just reminded actually. Moussa scored against Spurs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, but everyone we have put in the transfer list and bench at best
I think we were
scored.
I think we were harsh on Moussa because he's got a goal every 100 minutes this season.
I was saying this and I was shouted down.
I think I didn't put him in transfer list.
Anyway, John Fleck. I'll put him on bench at best.
Personally. I think it's very easy to say, he's playing for a less attractive club, straight in one of the lower tiers. I think that's too easy to say that. I'm not saying I disagree, but you got to think about it a bit more.
Well, hang on, I thought we were doing Fabinho.
No, I was just making a joke about Gareth.
Oh my God!
Right.
To be honest, Decore's probably got a bigger one, but who knows?
A shot on him, right?
Right. Let's just say size doesn't matter, okay?
Yeah, otherwise Philip Billing would be good.
Yeah, Philip Billing's a prime example of that. Amazing. Anyway,
Philip Billing's going to score a hat trick next game, isn't
he?
he?
Imagine.
What's actually going on?
And then he's going to whip it out.
Oh yeah, that happened, didn't it? When he was on the bench.
Oh my God! No, that was Danny Williams or something like that.
Yeah, like the cameras were showing it and showing him getting changed on the bench, and it.
Right, back to the football. Back to the football.
Oh, that happened to LeBron James.
I was literally going to say something.
Yeah.
Leave it, guys. Just a quick thing. Leave in the comments. How many inches is yours?
Well, I wonder when Neil gives us our content warning update at the end of this video what the player is going to be.
We started off so professionally.
Listen, we're not ranking Disney princesses here.
Right now, he's just tapping the content button.
Oh, God.
Right,
But,
John
yeah.
Fleck. I feel like we all think he's bench at best.
Yeah. He does oh God, voice crack. He does a good job for Sheffield United, but if you're putting him in a Premier League 11, he's not going to be much.
No one's signing John Fleck. No one's going, I don't want John Fleck in my team.
Right.
Yeah.
Who we
Bench
talking
at
about?
best. Are we going straight to Gross or who is it?
Neil?
Neil, yeah.
Neil,
Go for Pascal Gross.
He's literally like this. He did all right.
He had a good start to his career. He scored a decent amount of goals.
What do you think?
Pascal Gross was actually really creative in Germany. What happened?
I don't like the
He
spell.
went to Brighton.
Anyway.
Valid point.
He's
Brighton
what-
are a weird side. They play all right football. They try to attack, and yet I feel like I'm in pain every time I watch them.
They're they're one of those teams that are kind of forgettable. Like you kind of forget they're in the league. A bit like West Brom. It's kind of like.
Well, West Brom aren't in the league, so that's a good
I
chance.
know, but no, when they were in that's what I mean. When they were in the league, like you kind of just like West Brom. Oh, West Brom are playing anyone today. Oh, can't wait to watch that. Yeah,
Hey, wait, hang on a second.
Oh no, we're not getting this on.
Can't disrespect West Brom when they had that 5-5 with Man United. I mean,
I
come on.
thought you were going to talk about like your football man.
Yeah, but that's when they had Lukaku and they were actually kind of exciting to watch for a period.
That's it. Anyways.
Yeah. Pascal Gross started well. He's had 2 goals, 4 assists so far this season. And you wouldn't even say you noticed it, really. Like, Neil, would you agree with that?
You don't notice Brighton?
He's one of them.
So the 4 assists is nothing to, smirk at, is it? 4 assists for the Brighton team is a fair return.
But is Pascal Gross their set piece maker? Or is he someone that really just plays down the middle?
I generally don't know.
Exactly, it is Pascal Gross.
I always saw him. I might be wrong. I always saw him as like a kind of goal scorer midfielder. Like that's what I always thought he was signed to do.
With about 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah, well, I mean, whether he returns on that is a different story. But
I'm mixed between bench at best and transfer list, and I know that might be harsh, but it's just because you don't see much of him.
He's played a lot of different positions this season.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem.
They've played him all over the place. I mean, he hasn't played more than 6 games in one position. He's played 6 at cam, 5 right wing, 1 on the left wing. Like he's played all over the place, which is it's kind of strange. But I think he's getting asked to do a lot of different roles, and that's probably affecting his statistics.
Yeah, what do you guys think about it? Because I think transfer list bench at best is probably where it is.
Transfer list is hard.
I think it's hard.
I think he's as good as John Fleck at least.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I think we should just put him at bench best and move on to the more interesting guys.
Yeah, I agree.
A way to consider it is have him or Aaron Moy. You'd much rather have Aaron Moy, right?
Why didn't we pick Aaron Moy?
I honestly
he was in charge.
Listen. When I was unsure, I picked the highest rated one on who scored.
Well, there you go. That's why you'd rather have Pascal Gross, who's higher rated than who scored.
I don't think Aaron Moy's hugely bad. I think he's better, but I don't think he's hugely better.
So yeah,
but off topic, aren't we? Shall we move on?
Yeah, I think bench at best, and we are back on for the last round on Ritson.
Okay, let's do this one then. Let's go with N'Golo Kante.
Are
we ready?
First of all, tell us where you think he is.
Wait, one last thing with Pascal Gross. His first season was actually really good for Brighton. He got 7 goals and 8 assists.
That's impressive.
Yeah, fair enough.
But if you look at how he slipped.
Oh yeah, he's done rubbish since.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think he could, if he carried on that, we could be looking at squad player, maybe even first team player at that level.
Possibly.
But because of the way he slipped, I think bench at best.
Well, yeah, strap yourself in, fellas, because Ritson wants to talk about Kante.
And if he doesn't put him in this place, I'm leaving.
Right, I can't wait. I might just be unnecessarily harsh for this. Now, okay, we all love Kante, right? I mean, he's a cute, adorable, smiling.
What?
Smiling guy. Well, he is.
That's what we're going to talk about, Kante.
No, but come on, let's just introduce. Like, we all love Kante. You just want to squeeze his cheeks and go, "Oh, good job, buddy. You've done so well." And he runs his socks off, and he's had a great journey from playing in the second tier of the French league to winning the league with Leicester, being the player of the season, then being the player of the season for Chelsea, winning the league again. Being the best defensive midfielder in the world. Last 2 seasons, huh?
Still is.
No, he's not. Last 2 seasons, I personally don't think he's been near the level that he previously was at, which would have been comfortably best defensive midfielder in the world.
Hasn't he been playing a defensive midfielder?
No, but come on, in midfield, okay. Well, okay then. Well, in midfield, I don't think he's been near as good as he was when he played.
Yeah, because he's been playing in higher up the pitch, which it's not his role.
Okay, well, the last 2 seasons, that's where he's played, and that's kind of what you have to judge. I mean, you can't.
We judge him on what he's like in his best position, which is defensive midfield, and he's absolutely outstanding, unplayable. I'd much rather play against Fabinho than Kante. Kante is unplayable on his day. You put him at defensive midfield. The engine on him is maybe the best defensive midfield I've ever seen, because I don't see how you can play against him on his day. He's unbelievable.
Well, even though he's playing higher up,
It looks like he's not playing as well because we expect more from him, so we don't notice it as much. And he's playing higher up, which doesn't suit him as much.
I'm not right. Okay, I still think he's playing good. I still think he's a really good player. But I think there are quite a few midfielders in the league who, in the last season or two, have been playing at a higher level than him. So I would put him in first team player.
See you later, lads.
I think.
See you later, lads. Well, the only thing is, as I know, the other three of you won't be that stupid. So I know he's going to end up in world class.
I mean, I needed to have one really controversial
I know you three guys, the other three guys, are going to put him in world class. So it's fine.
I'll pay you 20 quid right now to put him.
You do realise Kante didn't play defensive midfielder for Leicester, right? He was a box-to-box.
Yeah, but he wasn't playing...
No. He was playing box-to-box. He was constantly running up and down the pitch.
He wasn't playing the role he was playing for Chelsea. Well, when did you see Kante getting in the box and having shots at Leicester?
Well, yeah, no. The moment he'd get the ball, he'd pass it off, but he'd be winning the ball in the final third and everything.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm on about. Like, he's literally being asked to be like an attacking midfielder and get in the box. Under Sarri, he was
not. He was playing as a box-to-box midfielder.
No, under Sarri, he was getting in the box.
I'm sorry.
Under Sarri, he was getting in the box, and
under Sarri, he was playing more like he did for Leicester than he did for when he under Conte at Chelsea.
He has the same shots per game in the last 2 seasons than he did in his season for Leicester and his title winning season for Chelsea. His key passes is up slightly in the last 2 seasons. Dribbles is the same. So really, going forward, even though you're saying he's apparently playing more forward, he's statistically not really doing anything more. I mean, to be fair,
because he's not that player.
18-19, he got 4 goals and 4 assists, which is his best attacking output. Well, I'm sorry, but
Sarri's asking him to do a role he's not comfortable with.
He's not playing for Sarri now.
And also, last season he played well.
Yeah, exactly. He still did well.
If me and Neil interject,
I still think he's good.
Because Neil, what do you think of him? I think he's probably one of the best at what he does. Really,
I think he's brilliant.
I think he's great. I honestly think he's world class. I think he is one of the best players in the league. Like, no one, look at what he did at Leicester. Sure, he might not be in defensive mid, like Paddy said, but he did the job. He got him, Vardy, Mahrez, got them the league.
He had to play more conserved at Leicester because they only playing 2 in midfield, so there's no way he could get that far forward.
What are you on about?
I reckon Kante, he changed the game, didn't he? He actually has re-emphasized the importance of the defensive midfielder for teams, right? Idris Gueye is a good example. Who's the one who plays for Leicester? Ndidi, that kind of player. Yeah. They've become crucial, right? Probably the biggest reinvention of central defensive midfield since Claude Makelele.
Yeah, I think CDM was quite overlooked as a position until Kante came into the Premier League.
It's not that CDM was overlooked. It's that CDM was a different style of player. CDM before Kante came about was your Xavi Alonso and your Sergio Busquets, as in they were meant to just sit back, tackle, and then do a pretty pass.
I agree.
With Kante and Gueye, it's run around, be everywhere across the pitch, win the ball, and then do a simple pass so that someone who's actually good with the ball can start an attack.
And he does that perfectly.
Yeah, he's read the game.
He is perfect at it.
I'm not. Sorry, I'm not saying that. I agree with everything that Neil just said about reinventing the position and all that, but I just don't think that this season or last. I get the whole Sarri thing because Sarri wanted to play all weird, and Kante kind of fit into that, but I just think there has been a drop off clearly, and I know you're saying different role.
But it just goes. No, it's been fantastic last 2 seasons. It just goes unnoticed.
I don't think so at all.
it just goes unnoticed because you expect it now.
Well, no. All I'm seeing is him doing less. That's all.
Team though, isn't he? You'd expect less.
You'd expect less, yeah, exactly. The 2 seasons he was unbelievable. He won the league.
Yeah, but you can be unbelievable without winning the league. I mean, even the season after he won the league with Chelsea, I thought he was amazing too.
Yeah, and he won the Europa League from it.
No. That was, the season 17-18. I mean,
can't he be in Chelsea? It only feels like
this is his 4th year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Let's just put him in world class because, if he goes anywhere else, it's a travesty for mankind.
I think Kante belongs in
it's
world class.
Absolutely crazy to put him anywhere else.
Yeah, he's world class. Just to say, you do realise Kante didn't win Player of the Year when Leicester won the league, right? Because you did say that.
Oh, who said that?
I think I said that.
Yeah, he won Player of the Year during the Chelsea title win. Mahrez won it when Leicester won the league.
Yeah, I think it's because
he had on that Leicester
probably because after he left, Mahrez didn't leave Leicester, and then Leicester went all the way down, and then Kante won the league for Chelsea.
Think about the 3 main players that won the league for Leicester: Vardy, Mahrez, and Kante. Kante's the only one that leaves the next season. Leicester go from winning the league to
4th or 5th, wasn't it? No, it wasn't even that.
Worse than that, mate.
Hang on a second.
That shows you how much of an impact.
They also lost Danny Drinkwater. All right. So let's
give it to Chelsea as well.
When you can have that much of an impact on the team, you can't be anywhere other than world class.
Okay, that's giving too much credit to Kante. I mean, Kante, was an amazing.
I'm not saying he was a one-man team.
Yeah, but the point is, with the Leicester title win, the reason why it's never going to happen again is a bunch of average players had the seasons of their lives at the exact same time, and then you had Kante, Mahrez, and Vardy. That's why Leicester won the league, because Wes Morgan was playing like a world-class centre-back.
Well, Leicester won the league partially because Kante is an outstanding player. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, I agree more with that, but that's 4 years ago.
But what's changed so
we've also got to finish the Kante discussion and move on to someone else.
Is anything we need to finish it. I need to finish this. Okay. What's happened so drastic? Has he been so drastically worse to go from world class to lower than that? To lower than world class?
Well, no, but first,
he's a World Cup winner as well.
I know he is. I know he's a World Cup winner.
He was brilliant in that team.
I know, and he looked great when he was smiling with the trophy too. It was lovely. But I think I'm basing this mostly for Chelsea last 2 seasons, not World Cup. Okay.
Why? His career's been longer than 2 seasons.
Yeah, I know, but if we're judging, how long do you want to go back when you're judging a player like now?
Well, I mean, 3-4 seasons ago is not that long, and you're acting like the last 2 seasons. It was abysmal.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I said he was still good. He just wasn't. I mean, he was winning the ball a lot less compared to Leicester and Chelsea. First season of Chelsea, or first 2 seasons, I guess. The last 2 seasons have dropped off since then. I'm not saying he's done badly. I'm just saying that the Kante before these last 2 seasons was, like everywhere, literally everywhere.
But the drop off for Kante to go from world class level to Jack Grealish's level must have been like outrageous.
Okay, whoa! But I'm not saying that Kante is exactly as good. Again, I even mentioned this before when it wasn't even my argument to make. Just because someone is on the same tier as someone else doesn't mean they are the same ability, the same player.
Well, we're putting Bruno Fernandes in world class because
because
8 good games.
Because the last 3 seasons, no. Because of what he did in Portugal the last 2 seasons, where he actually
massively less impressive, but it's still impressive. But it's massively
he's again 56 goal contributions in 58, I think it was anyway, or 55 and 57, something like that. Ridiculous stats. When you're just scoring that much from centre mid, that's what that's what I was basing it off, not just the 8 games.
Can we please stop with the Kante discussion?
He's in world class. I'm happy.
Right, world class, agreed.
But
But that's where he's going. Right, so my last pick. I am going to go with Abdoulaye Doucouré. He, for the past couple of seasons, he has been consistently linked with like your PSGs, a bit of your Uniteds, your Chelseas and stuff. And I think that is being very generous. I think he's a decent CDM. He's quite tall and he's got quite long legs, so he makes quite chopping runs.
It's not a CDM.
He's played a bit as a CDM as well at Watford, especially.
I think he scored quite a few goals.
He has scored quite a few goals.
I think he's more just like kind of box to box.
He's just a box to box midfielder, man.
I think
he's not a CDM in the slightest.
It's not had as much brilliant season this season. I mean, neither of Watford, but 4 goals, which is less than his other seasons. When he was at his peak, I could understand the links because players like that are so physically strong and in the center of the pitch are so like fashionable and so everyone wants to play like that. So I can understand it. But do you guys think he's that level?
Doucouré is the most overrated player on this list. And John Joe Shelby's that squad player at the moment.
I personally would put him squad player probably. I don't think the hype is what it's worth, but I still think he's a decent player. I think he'll probably leave Leicester this season, let's be honest. I think
he'll leave Leicester, will he?
Leave Leicester, he'll leave Watford. That's run its course.
If they get relegated, he's definitely better than Championship.
Yeah,
he's definitely better than that.
Genuinely, where would you have put Capoue on this list?
Squad player, I think.
Probably squad player.
Okay, right. Capoue's so much better than Doucouré, so
I mean that's opinion.
They're hard to compare.
You know what? It's the opinion of every Watford fan.
Yeah, but I don't like the comparison though. They're quite different.
Right, Doucouré is a player that constantly goes missing in times for Watford. Watford never constantly coming in and out, showing up. Shows up for one game, looks amazing. Everyone gets his hype. He gets his link to PSG, and then he goes away again. And he's done it every season that he's had in the Premier League. He's the most overrated player on this list. He's the Callum Wilson of this list.
I worry that when he was doing so well and he was getting these links, he really wanted to go. I worry that because he didn't get to go, he's not been trying as hard or...
Did he put in a transfer request?
Yeah, I think something like that. He definitely wanted to go to these clubs, which is understandable, but since the links, he's not been the same, and whether that's because he's down tools a bit, I don't know, but I think on his day, he's a very good player, and
Neil, what do you think about him?
I'm sorry, I hate the saying on his day. On his day, every player on this list is one of the best players in the world.
Don't interrupt. Neil, what do you think about him?
I think he's a good player. He's strong, he's powerful. He can operate on both sides of the pitch. Like, when he's like going forward, like towards the box, like running, you do think like, he's quite dangerous.
You do get a bit worried, don't you?
Yeah, like from what I've seen of him like playing, I've been like pretty impressed. I can't really speak to his consistency, but from what I've seen, I've been quite impressed. I think he's a player who, with a wide skill set.
I think he has the ability to do more, but I think the ability he's got is something to be praising.
Yeah, I think it'd be too much saying that he's a first team player. I think we can agree.
I think if he was more consistent, we could maybe put him there. But
maybe when he gets to a better team, he'll start picking up again. Well, I'm going to vote squad player.
I'm going to vote squad player as well.
That's fair.
Do you know who's going to sign Doucouré when Watford get relegated?
Yeah,
Brighton. No. And he's going to do absolutely nothing there. And next year, I will be laughing at you guys for thinking he's good. Transfer list.
And that's fine.
Well,
that's fine. We'll
get
see.
Get ready for that day because it's never going to happen. Ritson, what do you think?
I like Doucouré.
Yeah,
similar to what Neil said, I guess. He is, powerful, strong, and if he's running like a guy like that's running at you with the ball, it's a bit worrying, as you guys said.
Yeah.
Maybe this season he's not being quite as good as the last couple, but again, whenever I've seen him play, which isn't that often because it's Watford, but again, I do notice him, and he does seem to be quite central, literally, but also metaphorically to Watford's play. I don't really have much to add to what Neil said. Like, I've been quite impressed by him whenever I've watched him, so I'd agree with squad player.
Okay, great.
Right, then I'll put him in there. No, I'll put him in there. Don't worry.
I'm asking what's your next one, because...
my next one. I am going to talk about the second most overrated player on this list, Declan Rice.
Can't tell.
Do you remember when this guy was meant to be the future of England?
I mean, it's a bit early to say he's not.
I mean, looking at the way he plays.
22, is it?
He's pretty young. It's a bit early to write him off.
I'm already writing him off.
Especially because he's sitting.
He's 21 now. I've written him off.
He's awful.
Mbappe's won a World Cup by now, Paddy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Mbappe's. I'm not comparing Declan Rice and Mbappe.
Mbappe's playing with Griezmann, not Pablo Fornells.
I
didn't think we'd be comparing Mbappe to Declan Rice.
Obviously, you are right. He does have plenty of time to turn around what has been a quite poor season. And last season was it last season where he broke into the West Ham squad, or was it 2 seasons ago?
He broke someone's leg.
I think it was last season. I think he started breaking in towards the end of the season.
I feel like he got played in like the first game of the season or something, and like I feel like he just played him in the first game.
Okay, it was 2 seasons ago he broke into the West Ham squad. Last season he played 34 games. This season he's played all 32 so far. I think, you know what, he sort of showed promise his first season. I don't think he's made a single step in the right direction. I think he's the exact same player. He's got Tom Davies syndrome.
But you gotta put him a bit of slack because of how bad West Ham have been this season.
I actually
and he's
disagree.
He's a 21.
No, I don't, because there are bad teams that have got good players on this list. We've got Jack Grealish in first team player, but Aston Villa are one of the worst teams in the league. You've got Doucouré in squad player, but he's one of the first.
Yeah,
worst,
but it's much easier. It's much easier to stand out when you're a more advanced midfielder.
I actually disagree. I think he's not with Collins. I think he has been ever so slightly better this season, not noticeably, but then again, if we go back to stats, he's improved defensively, more tackles, more interceptions, a slightly higher average rating. And the thing about it is he scored 2 goals last season. He scored none this season, so that probably has a little bit of bearing in the rating as well.
Right. Okay. Your slightly better average rating is 0.03.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, but then looking at statistics, 0.2 more tackles. Okay, that's not really much, but like half more interceptions, and then he's got a couple of assists too, and his passing looks a little bit more key passes. I'm not saying he's came on leaps and bounds. I'm saying it is minimal, but I don't think it's not been bad. I think you're giving him very harsh criticism.
I think defensive midfield is a position in the world where there's not a lot of brilliant ones, and especially in England. And I think he's got the potential to be a very good one.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's only 21, and he's playing for West Ham, so I'll give him a lot of practice as defending.
You can't use his team as a defense at looking at actual players.
No, I know.
His team to cut him a bit of slack though. It's harder to defend. He's a 21-year-old trying to carry a lot of weight without defense.
And
he's having to play with a 46-year-old Mark Noble.
And Jack Grealish has to carry the entirety of Aston Villa's attack, and Doucouré is in your guys' opinion, the life force of Watford in the middle.
Well, we didn't say that. We otherwise we would have put Doucouré first team player.
Right.
And we put Jack Grealish in first team player because he does that.
I know. Yeah.
And I would be leaning towards a squad player with Declan Rice. I like him. I think he's got potential, and I think right now he's good enough. I mean, he's getting in the England squad already, which is kind of impressive.
Or the Ireland squad, whichever way you want to look at it.
Right. Okay. The thing is, like we've said, we're looking at players now. Potential's got nothing to do with it.
Well,
is he a squad player?
Because if you can see potential, you can see he's got ability.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean like he would go. Like that doesn't change the position. Like if you were playing a team right now for one game, that wouldn't change where you put him in the side.
Yeah, I'd be happy to have him as a squad player.
Yeah, okay,
I'd be happy to have him.
Is it because of his potential, or is it because of his actual ability?
No, I think he's got. I think he's got good. I think he's got decent ability now. I think he's versatile. He can play centre back as well. I think he's a strong player, good tackler. Good, he can drive through the midfield with the ball. I think he's a solid player with potential to be more.
You don't
right? Okay, you're looking at the next Eric Dyer here.
No,
that's harsh. Just because he's got the same,
truthful.
Just because he's truthful. A similar type of role doesn't mean his ability is the same.
It's truthful though.
Only Wilfred Ndidi has made more tackles than Declan Rice from midfield this season.
Impressive.
I mean,
exactly.
That's not. It's called West Ham don't have possession because it's a David Moyes side.
Yeah, but that says a lot more about him. He's 21 and he's meant to be. You don't get into a West Ham side who, let's be honest, they try to be attacking, but they are really the defensive team without having some niche and know-how on how to like retain possession.
I do get how. Hang on. I do get the point of obviously worse teams have to defend more, and therefore defenders' statistics can be bumped up.
But the Leicester player is the top one.
No, I know. I'm just making the point that it can happen. I'm not saying it's 100% that's how it goes every time.
Leicester are also
the thing is, Wilfred Ndidi is unbelievably good. I mean, that guy can tackle you from 50 yards away. I mean, he's just... I love Ndidi. I think he's great. But anyway, enough about a guy who's not on the tier list.
Yeah, Leicester are also a counter-attacking team, you have to remember.
Well,
so
Brendan
that's
Rodgers
why they've got a midfielder.
Manager. Brendan Rodgers is a very possession-based manager.
Yeah,
they've been playing on the counter-attack.
No, they're strong on the counter-attack, but I still think Brendan Rodgers' way is to be possession-based.
I agree with that, to be fair. Yeah, is there any more thoughts? Neil, what do you think?
I think he's a good player. I think he lacks going forward, though. Even for a defensive midfielder, he really lacks skills going forward. I'd say that's the area he needs to improve. But he's got a lot of potential. I'd probably put him as squad player.
Yeah.
Hang on. Right. A squad player is someone that you're happy to end up in the starting 11 occasionally.
I would be. I would be happy.
Isn't it, with Declan Rice?
Also, just to go back to the Leicester thing, they have the 4th highest average possession in the league. But anyway, yeah, I would agree with squad player.
Yeah, I say squad player as well.
Yeah. I hate every single one of you.
Solid player.
I hate every single one of you.
I mean, if anything, I think world class, maybe.
Yeah, I think we should.
You know what?
I've changed my mind.
Right, lads, you guys think everyone is average. We've got 7 people in squad player.
I mean, that's not average.
You think half of them? Yes, it is.
That's not
it's
average.
It's 5 tiers. That's the middle one.
Any of those... God, Collins said
but
it, so it must be right.
That doesn't literally mean they're average.
To be honest, we're picking their midfielder who's probably the best or most well known. That means that the likelihood is within a team you're going to have some midfielder who's at least decent, right? That's why there's so many squad players.
Exactly. I think we'd have mainly middle tiers for all our tier lists because sometimes it's difficult to really place people, whether they're good or bad. But
right.
Anyway,
who we got next? Is it Patrick? For your
is it me?
Final one? Yes, it is.
You know what? I'm going to save the best till last. So let's go for Fabinho now. Let's go with Milivojevic now. Now, usually a decent player for your fantasy team because
I love Milivojevic so much.
He's always very cheap and scores a lot of penalties. Scored a very good free kick the other day.
He's world class to me.
Scored a very good free kick the other day for Bournemouth. I think he's a technically very sound player, and I think he's been pretty good since he went to Crystal Palace. I think he's been a good signing.
I prefer not to speak because I will put him at world class.
Now, are we talking about him as a bit in the Ward-Prowse category as a bit of a set-piece merchant, or is he more than that?
No, I think he is a bit more than that. I think he's really won the ball. I think he's a leader in the dressing room and on the pitch. Like, he's only been there about 36 months, and he's all right, the captain, which is fair play to him. Like, I think he's quite decent. He has gets quite a few tackles in. He's not the most free flowing in terms of like dribbles or that. He's quite robust, but I think he's a really good player.
Sorry, did you say 36 months instead of 3 years?
Yeah, I was.
You're like one of those Karens with their babies. Yeah, he's 28 months old now. Oh, he's getting so big.
I was trying to sound really good because I was having a decent monologue and I've just ruined it all with that. Thank you, Written. Thank you.
just here to ruin everyone's
day. I'm putting him world class because he's my best player on my fantasy team.
No, you know what? I'm putting him transferless because his name is a nightmare to spell on Google Images when I was looking for the pictures.
I literally said Crystal Palace midfielder when looking for him.
I don't know. Where would you guys put him? Sorry. Where would you guys actually put him?
Lads, you're not gonna like this answer.
I think we're looking at another middle tier because
just guys.
I don't know. I think
anything but set pieces. He takes the pens for Crystal Palace, and that's all you know him for.
I think you need to go to rehab, Collins. You seem a bit depressed today.
You guys are making me depressed.
You seem a bit angry. You seem to care a bit too much about these Premier League midfielders' well-being.
Can we do another football one next week? I love this. This Collins just losing the will to live. It's great.
Let's rank Everton players.
Bottom tier.
Neil, what do you think about Milivojevic? Do you agree with Collins' assessment?
I like Milivojevic. I
everyone likes Milivojevic. Like, everyone likes everyone in the Premier League, apparently.
I mean, you're the only one who's disagreeing with us all. Yeah. Who's wrong here?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You are such a...
The majority of people voted for Brexit. You're going to say they were right.
Well,
that is
where we go.
Are we putting Luka Milivojevic in a squad player, or are we criticising everyone who voted Brexit?
What about a tier list of democratic votes?
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Episode 3020, we're running out of ideas.
I was going to say, if you thought episode 4 was long, then wait till you hear that one.
Tier list of pandemics.
I think he belongs in squad player. Like, I think.
Collins, would you put him
No, I want to put him transferless. I think he's bench at best.
Well,
I think he's been one of maybe Crystal Palace's.
Say Sahar.
I know, but Sahar's been poor this season. I think he's a bit overrated, but that's for a different tier list. Who rates Milivojevic that highly? That's the thing. Like, who's talking about Milivojevic all the time?
Exactly.
Have you seen me fantasy team, lads? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mangan. I noticed you got less than 10 points this week.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Did you actually?
I think I did. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a low scoring week.
I was going to say
the average was 50. I got 99.
To be honest with you, I actually don't know because I have.
It is a low score. It was a low score.
I haven't seen my Premier League in like 6 months.
Oh,
I always do this. I start the Premier League so strongly, and I'm like, yes. Then by November, I am off it. Like, I do not care.
Usually I'm like that, but I've enjoyed it this season.
You're 9th out of 12, Mangan.
Get in. I'm not lost. It says a lot.
Paddy, you're 4th, and Collins, you're 7th.
Well, actually, Collins, I'll let you take that back. I've got 19 points, actually.
Yeah, I have noticed. Fair play. Edison saved you there with his 7.
Yeah,
not often the goalkeeper is 40% of your point total.
I've got to say,
I've just been caught out with something.
What a great choice.
I've just been caught out.
Callum Wilson is starting striker. I think that's a great decision.
I've just been fouled out.
From the guy who put him in where? Bench at best? We've beaten the hypocrisy.
I've just been rumbled. I didn't even remember my team. Who we got?
I mean, to be fair, Paddy, have you seen the points total for Callum Wilson?
Listen,
his form is 1.
Bournemouth are useless. Bournemouth are just useless.
No, but anyway, back on to Milivojevic because I feel personally attacked. I reckon he's a squad player. I'm
happy to put him squad player. I mean,
right,
I think
I'm sorry. I actually refuse to put this guy in squad player unless you look at one of your squad players and move them either down or up a tier.
Gomez, make it Gomez. I beg.
Gomez, go down.
Gomez goes down. Gomez goes down, please.
This is a democracy here.
I mean, 4 people have voted.
This is democracy. You can't deny someone.
It's not really a democracy because only I show people my screen.
And Collins is a dictator at heart. So
shorten that, and you're right.
Oh, he's a tater.
No, I think he's squad player. If you want to move someone, then put.
I don't see what's so outrageous about putting Milivojevic in squad. We're not putting him world class.
Collins, I'll give you a bit of good news here because I haven't said where I'd put him.
Yeah, you put him squad player, mate.
No. Well, kind of. But what I would say is he's on the lower end of the squad players. So if that
fantastic. Can I add who he is in?
Squad player.
I'm adding tiers.
He's going to be a squad player. Neil, take it away for Fabinho. Let's see what the Evertonian thinks of the Liverpool player.
God.
I mean, he's great, isn't he? He's a has been really key for Liverpool winning the league this year. I don't really have much to say. He's great.
Okay, Collins, let's taste the salt.
I don't know. Okay.
He has lost all hope and care for his life.
I've been busy creating a tier only for Milivojevic for lower squad tier.
Salt. Fucking
there are now 6 tiers in this list, and Milivojevic is in one by himself.
Unbelievable.
Right.
I'm even putting Declan Rice in that tier.
But this is just changing it to your opinions only.
No. He's still squad player. He's just lower squad player.
Lower squad player. I shouldn't have said anything.
It's your fault, Richard.
My fault.
And just for that is the reason why Fabinho is obviously going world class. He is such a good player.
Wait, why would that be a bad thing for me? I love Fabinho. I think he's
no.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool, essentially the best team in the world right now, kind of. Yesterday was a great example of that. And if you don't agree with that, you've got to agree that at least one of the best teams, top 3-5 at least, and he's an integral part in that team. I think his ability to read the play, his long limbs help him take the ball off people constantly, and he wins the ball back so often. And technically, he's better than you think he'd be the way he looks. You see this quite gangly players like that, you'd think. But if you look at his goal the other week for Crystal Palace, firstly the strike, but the assist to Salah was almost as good as that goal.
You remember he did something similar against United for Mane?
Yeah, for Mane. That? You honestly don't think this player has that in him, and then he just proves you wrong so many times.
Because he looks a bit clumsy, but he's not it's like his long limbs, but it just helps him so much to win the ball back. And it's so key that Liverpool win the ball back out of the pitch, and he's so integral to that.
And another thing is, it's such a shame that he's had 2 seasons here and he's not had a full season yet, really. He's only had 2 half seasons or just over a half season of actual games. I mean, last season he took a while to gel in before he started being played in the first team, starting the games in the second half of the season. And this season he was starting, he was in ridiculous form, and then he got that, an ankle injury or something, which kept him out for a few months. He needed, a bit of surgery on that. Which obviously has made him miss a good 10, 12 games. But even still, he's been fantastic in those portions. And he has been a little unlucky, obviously, to get that injury because he's not that injury-prone a player. I just can't wait for him to get a full season next year because we're saying about what he offers going forward and his technical ability being surprisingly good. And I really want to see that all come together in a full season where he's not disturbed by injury or settling into a team, etc. So I'm really excited for him next season, and obviously he has to go world class.
I mean,
I mean, like the thing is, when I look at world class, I'm thinking like top 5, top 10, in their position in the world. And Fabinho is easily he's easily in the top 10, and he's probably in the top 5.
Top 5 seed, yeah.
Definitely in top 5. Definitely.
I don't. Do we have any objection to that at all?
Best defensive mid in the league.
I object to that, but I agree. He's excellent. Second best.
I genuinely don't think he's world class. Like I know it's going to sound like a bit of Everton, but I love. I think nothing special, and every time I watch him play, I don't think anything is special about him. I think he's just a younger Fernandinho.
You've cried.
Still makes first team player for me in this deal.
What's wrong with being a younger Fernandinho? Fernandinho's brilliant.
If anything, that just means we've got like more years of it.
Fernandinho's brilliant.
Fernandinho, yeah, is kind of tackling, but he's the guy that's a professional foul, which is what I personally Fabinho.
No, we watch Liverpool every week. He's a brilliant at winning the ball back.
And I'm sure you watch it with entirely non-biased glasses on. And I'm not saying that I watch your guys' game with unbiased glasses as well.
I mean, I think the most critical people of their own fans of their own team. I think they're more critical.
Mate, just take me for example.
Here we go.
Had my fair share of criticism on Liverpool midfielders for definitely in the mid.
I've criticised Liverpool players in my lifetime way more than I've criticised Everton players. I think, because your fans of your own club know better. Like, I'm happy to admit when someone's had a bad game. Like, if someone's having a good game, I'm happy to admit that. And he has mostly great games. Sometimes he has a odd game where he can be a bit clumsy, gives away a few too many fouls and that, But it's the role he's playing. It's bound to happen occasionally, but most of the time he's brilliant.
He's consistently great at what he does.
Yeah.
Right. No, you guys seem to think that you can only underrate a player by criticizing them too much. You can also do the exact opposite and think they're much better than they actually are. And that is what you're doing with Fabinho.
What are you actually on about here?
But I don't know. But you can't. You're saying that as if it's fact. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it's not a fact that someone can underrate and overrate a player.
No, but you're saying it's fact that we definitely are doing that. I mean, I don't.
In my opinion, well, no, I'm not saying it as a fact. I'm saying that it's possible for you to do it about a Liverpool player, which is what you were saying that you weren't. You were saying that you could only be overly critical towards them. That was exactly what you said. I'm simply saying that you can overrate a player as well, and I personally think that you are overrating Fabinho.
Okay, actually, no. You know what? You're right. We are all overrating. But can we listen to the other Everton fan about him?
Well, no. Right. Okay.
No.
I'm seriously. You're acting like I'm attacking you guys. I'm not.
You are.
You are though.
I'm not. I'm not. I simply said I think you guys are overrating him.
Well, you could have just said that. You don't have to be aggressive,
God.
I think he's
can't do a thing on this podcast without you guys criticizing me.
I'll say, for one, I think he's great. His imposing presence in the Liverpool midfield is just key for you guys, isn't it? It's key. He's just in being there.
He looks like he has a great time as well on the pitch.
Can we also just talk about Monaco for a minute as well? He was part of that team that made the semi-finals of the Champions League, and he was key to that team too. If you look back,
they won that season.
He played right back for them that season.
That's
exactly shows his versatility.
Exactly, he's versatile.
Yeah, I know, but you can't.
Did he always play right back for Monaco? Well, no, he must have been a defensive mid in his last season for Monaco.
I feel like he started at centre back, then moved to right back, and then played defensive
He
midfield.
started at centre mid for Monaco. He didn't play very well in the Agile Moutinho, so he moved to right back.
I think it's interesting the
Nice.
season that Monaco had after Fabinho left, because they really struggled, didn't they?
That's true. That is
They
true.
also,
Right.
all right. They also sold Mbappe. They sold a lot of people that season.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
Well, anyway,
Let's not do Kante again, where you guys are saying that him leaving is the reason why they suddenly performed a lot worse.
Well,
But I'm saying I'm adding it on to the Liverpool days where I think he's also been class.
Yeah, I know, but he played right back for them, so you can't really use that as an argument for him as a
He
midfielder.
was defensive mid in his last season for Monaco. That's why we bought him as a defensive mid, and he was great that season as well.
They won the league that season. I mean, who was beating PSG at that point? Like, that was an unbelievable achievement, and he played an integral part of that. He had a good season that season.
But anyway, I think we've got 4 for world class, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't recall Neil voting.
Neil, what would you put him as?
It'd be world class.
No, we got 4 for world class. Any chance I can create a tier called lower world class?
Nope.
Lower world class. Oh my god.
Nope, he's going on. Well,
everyone happy with the?
I think I'm happy with it. Yeah. I think it's well served.
I think it's quite clear I'm not.
Yeah, well, that we've done our job.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from overrating Kante because he's cute and has a nice smile, but whatever.
Wow. Anyway, right. So, Collins, have any things to say before we go?
Thanks for watching tonight, guys. You've seen me steadily disagree with everything these guys have had to say, and I hope you enjoyed it. Join us next time for which is going to be my choice, and it will be TV sitcoms. It's going to be great.
Neil?
Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Ritson?
Yeah, been a fun one, I think. Lots of debate and plenty of anger to just sit back and eat some popcorn. And I'll see you next time.
Goodbye. And remember, I am always right.
Right.
Apart from about Callum Wilson.
Before I sign off, we might as well keep plugging the Insta and Twitter page at Tier List Podcast. Remember that you guys can listen to us on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, and a couple more. But from me and the rest of us, this being the Tier List Podcast, see you in a bit, lads.